Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. It is I, Badger, back for some more League of Lads Season 16 playoff action. If you are wondering why it's not ticketed, I'll explain that soon. But we are here tonight for a best of three series between the Funny Zone, the perhaps presumptive favorite to win the playoffs on the Radiant team, another heavyweight contender in Mellow in the Dire team. If you are wondering why we are not ticketed, Cello is not here. He is driving home. We are going to draft, and then we are going to redraft. We're going to ticket it up and redraft after he gets back. We do have a stand-in tonight as well. We do not have Fruit Punch, aka Des, playing for the Dire side. We instead have Kvotha's six string standing in. So insider information for the people. So Vico, captain mid laner of the Dire side, Melifels, he contacts me last night. I don't want to like misquote anybody, so I don't need the exact quote here. Yesterday, 11:12 p.m. EST. Badger, instead of casting, do you want to stand in for the game tomorrow? XD, little x big D? Response: Lamau, can you really not find a better alternative? We have a little back and forth, and I then tell him I would highly advise a stronger alternative. Ask around if you need to. I told him if you absolutely cannot find anyone, then I guess I'll do what I have to. I follow up with him at 6:30 today. Hey Vico, you find another player? Yes, I got Kvotha, lol. My response, good call. So that's how Kvotha six string is here and not Dest, aka Fruit Punch, the former Lads champion and former Badger teammates. Those two things not the same fucking season for a reason, but I digress. That's why there's an ancient apparition picked. He is a notorious AA player. This is about the six string guy. And as a result, he's playing it tonight. Response will be the Earth Spirit. Bit of a flex pick, hoping it's the Kurdo pick, though, of course. Kurdo Earth Spirit, quite legendary. Bands otherwise, they are, standard as you're going to get, more or less. SF, Invoker, Pangolier, Luna, Sniper, SD, Bristle, Omni Knights. Little shades of respect ban in there, but largely speaking, it's stuff you would expect. A lot of a lot of fun going on in the all chat already, of course, between I believe, if memory serves, Wife has played with the Funny Zone stack at some point, if memory serves. I look that up real fast before I say anything else. I'm pretty confident those two have played with Wife though, so obviously it's not anything bad mannered in nature. Well, actually, not trying to flame. It is a little bad mannered in nature, of course. But they're not trying to flame anybody. They're just having a good time, having a little bit of little bit of all chat back and forth. Yeah, they actually played together last season. So Wife was on this team last season. I thought it might be 2 seasons ago. It was literally last season. So yeah, last season it was minus Wife, minus off, plus Lefty, plus Ultra. I don't mean to flame. That sounds like a pretty good team though. It sounds like the upgrade has worked out pretty well for Funny Zone. But of course, if your Wife, you want to say, wait a minute, I'm not the problem. They're the problem. I'm gonna beat you guys tonight.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Whether or not that'll happen, we shall see. But
Dire team pick.
a couple more bands coming in. Mars and Alchemist. Ogre Magi, the 13 pick. It always is funny seeing the banner of this Mellow Fellas team. It is a long standing banner, of course, going back to when we rejected the Muzi team with PMA. This is a long time ago. Had to have been like season 11 or something. Maybe even older than that. Actually, I can look this up. We can go look up exactly how far back this is. Let's see, PMA. Do I have PMA on it? Yep. So that was season 10, where we rejected Muzi to play on a PMA stack, and he was pretty upset. We voted five. If you're curious, we voted 5-1 against that team being allowed. I was the one yes votes, if you're curious, but not important. They end up actually going with Vico instead as their mid laner, and the rest, well, it's just history. So the one thing left from that time, of course, is the banner. PMA no longer plays lads. He's retired. He even played with me for a season.
5 seconds remaining.
But the banner remains, and so does Vico. And now we have the Dawnbreaker selected. A lot of reserve time is getting chewed into right now. About a minute left for the Dire side. About a minute 45 for the Radiant side. And it will be Nyx Assassin. Perhaps a... I don't know why I grabbed Nyx, actually. Hypothetically, a bit of a block pick to protect their Dawnbreaker and their AA. Or maybe if you think it'll be Earth Spirit mid, then you can go Earth Spirit mid, Nyx 4, Ogre 5. You tank it on up. You easily cancel the Dawnbreaker ulti. You can really ruin this A's ability to show anywhere on the map. Other than that, again, you can always combine with the Dawnbreaker and the AA, get a great, long-range gank squad thing going. You Solar Guardian on top of the Nyx. You throw the Ice Blast on top as well. You do a very high amount of damage with those three heroes. So perhaps that's the idea. It is a little strange, of course, seeing Nyx Assassin get picked. Oh my. So Dragon Knight and Visitor picked from Lefty for his team. That's how you know the Radiant are here to win. They you don't pick DK Visage to have fun. Fundamentally speaking, these sort of heroes where when you're picking these heroes, you say, you know what, I'm here to win. I'm not here to play around, mess around, drop 13 kills and a loss. No, I'm here to actually win the video game. Very few players enjoy either of these two heroes, so that's how you know they're here to play. And for Mellow as well, probably knew this was coming, at least to an extent. You knew they could potentially go with heroes like this. Of course, there remains a little tiny bit of flexibility regarding roles. Again, their Spirit could be 2, could be 4. Potentially the DK could go 1 or 3. Still even could go mid. Again, Visage could go either mid or off. You have multiple places you can flex around these heroes. So this 18 pick for Mellow is the pick. And it's finding to be a carry. Okay, then. It'll be the mid Timbersaw. They'll save the carry pick. They'll grab the Timber mid, apparently. But in that regards, if I'm playing on the Radiant side, I say, okay, we just pick a good anti-Timber hero mid. Problem is, I don't really know what hero that is, conceptually speaking. I don't really know what mids do well into Timbersaw.
Radiant team ban.
Hypothetically, though, that 24 pick surely will lane better into the Timber than either the Visage, or either the DK or the Earth Spirit. Because both those heroes are notoriously bad 1v1 versus... Particularly the DK is notoriously bad into Timber. So in that regards, Ultra DK, enough Visage, Kurto, Spirit, and then a 24 pick for Lefty. Problem is, a lot of these Lefty heroes have been banned out already. Like, you look at, again... The Lefty himself, he's banned out SF and Boker, Pangolier. And then meanwhile, the Dire have banned out the Mars and the Quap. So that's a lot of heroes you might potentially want that you can't pick. I don't really honestly know all that much what's left. Good tea. Brewed some tea for the series. I honestly really don't know what they even want anymore at this point. Because Quap had to have been the obvious one. It's gone. Maybe you can go Puck, but Puck is definitely not the hero you want this game into a Nyx Assassin. Ugh. Maybe they do just grab a different hero 24. I don't know. I'm sure Earth Spirit Mid's fine enough. You kick away the Timbersaw, you force them to skill chain, maybe. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I'm a little lost. That'll be the job for Lefty to figure out. He's also a minute of reserve time, so in that regard, there is strategy time to play with. For Vico, not the
10
case.
seconds remaining.
He's chewing into his final 10 seconds of reserve time right now. Who do we grab? Let's go find out. Is there a band coming through? In Storm. Probably one of the better bands you could have had. With that last band slot, if there is one, that's probably what it's going to be. Now at that point, how many good ranged mids are left that Lefty would want to
10
play?
seconds remaining.
I don't know.
5 seconds remaining.
Maybe Alina, maybe a Leshrac. I don't think either are that good this game, but hypothetically, either have a decent bit of potential this game. For now, though, the fellas will grab a Mokio Gyrocopter. I like the pick. Potentially could get bursted down this game, though. You need to make sure you have a decent bit of HP purchase in the gyro at really all stages of the game. Maybe it's a Falcon Blade. Maybe it's a relatively early BKB. Maybe relatively early Satanic. Just to not die. Because naturally they're going to want to go on you this game. If you're playing the gyro, you are the obvious natural initiation target. Obviously, if you can go on a Nyx or an AA, it's even better, but hypothetically speaking, Nyx and AA should not be gone on if played optimally, and then you just don't want to go on a Timbersaw or a Dawnbreaker, therefore gyro is your obvious target. Therefore, I'm sure Melky already knows this, but for the viewers out there, again, you tank on up, you itemize to really get tanky. Definitely a Falcon Blade, a potential,
Choose your hero.
possibly an SMY, definitely a BKB, definitely like an Ag Satanic. Despite the Puck Nyx interaction, though, they have grabbed a Puck for Lefty. I don't know about this. I mean, surely he knows what he's... Shit, I pressed the wrong button. Surely he knows what he's doing. He's a better mid laner than I am. He's a better Dota captain than I am. But you have to be really confident in your own Puck to select that. This is not an easy Puck game in that regard. You need to make sure that you are really aware of this this Nyx and where he is and where he's trying to ruin your Dota game. In that regard, I'm slightly scared, but again, I think he knows what he's getting into. He's well aware of the hero that was selected. He like that's one of those. He knew what he was picking into. It's not some counter pick blind. No, he knew this is what it's gonna be. So Mellow has arrived. He's now in the lobby. Make sure the lobby settings are right. It is Radiant. It is first pick on Dire. I'll put a little G in the chat. Make sure everyone's good to go with that one. Yeah, it's Malifau's first funnies on Radiant. Teams are G. Settings. I think the third time. I'm a little bit paranoid about these things. I don't like to have mistakes in them, but yeah. Okay. So they are correct. So we are going to redraft the exact same draft just for, ticket reasons. Because, we like to help the ticket out. We like to help the people of lads. I don't know if we're still doing the spectral.gg thing anymore, but we were doing that for a hot minute. Regardless, of people like to have their pick band stats, and obviously having it be an all pick means you don't get bans. So we're gonna snap through this thing right away. Dude, the UI can't keep up right now. The UI cannot keep up. The UI cannot keep up. The draft is done, I'm pretty sure. Fast heroes are still being picked, so. Barely Ultra almost misclicked. So that would have been hilarious if it happened, but luckily that did not happen. That would have been quite bad. So yeah, it is as expected. DK carry, Red Dragon for Ultra Gunner, Kurdo 3 or Kurdo 4 Earth Spirit, Aurora Ogre Magi, enough Visage, Lefty Puck. And then the die rolls are really obvious again. Mid lane Timbersaw Vico, carry Mokio Gyro, off lane Wife Dawnbreaker, and then Cello Sup Nyx. Both the 6 string playing the stand-in Sup Ancient Apparition. So that's what we've got. Those are our picks. Those are our players. I'm your commentator for the evening, Badger, once again. Probably should have done my intro during the draft, because if nothing else, I am a creature of habit. I kind of do the same thing every game. I wouldn't say I do the same thing every game. There's certain things that I like to do, flow wise. I get in the rhythm and I get in the flow of certain things. I don't know. I think it's somewhat good to have at least some of those habits, but it is what it is. If you are just joining us, welcome to game number 1 of Mellow Fellas versus the Funny Zone. The Funny Zone come in as perhaps the favorites for winning the playoff brackets. They are the number 1 seed out of Group B. They're taking on, though, Mellow Fellas, who, again, clearly have earned their spot in the winner's bracket and look for a very strong matchup and a very strong series win if they can pull off the upset here. My name's Badger, and I'm joined by the awkward silence and not having a co-commentator. Probably should have put a little more effort into finding one, but rookie into. We are seeing a little bit of all chat between Ultra and Cello. I do believe Ultra and Cello are also former teammates. I forget what stack they played on together, but I'm sure, it's not Flame if you're curious for the people out there. This is, a nice friendly
30 seconds.
nice friendly message to an extent. I do agree though with the DK players comment from Cello. Honestly, DK is not as low of a skill hero as he used to be. Obviously, the perception is not caught up, but just because he's not as low skill as he used to be, he's just kind of a boring hero, to be honest. I don't I don't like him. We're seeing a bit of an invasion done by Mellow Fellows. Vico zones away to Puck and then walks away. Meanwhile, we see Ultra losing out on the rune to Wife and Cello. Problem is, though, Radiant won both of the river runes, and Kurdo now grabs the dire jungle rune. So it's 3 runes for Funny Zone. Again, big plays there all around to ensure that there's 3 runes secured. I like the idea from Mellow Fellows, but it just did not work. I mean, the results are apparent. Yeah, lost some stuff on that one. You traded down gold-wise. And then we are, of course, going to see a little bit of action in all our lanes. Mid lane, it is Puck Timbersaw. I don't have analysis in this lane. It sounds pretty box standard, even sort of lane. Nothing too exciting there. I'm sure nobody died anytime soon. Top lane, it is a Visage and Earth Spirits taking on Ancient Apparition and Gyro. We see Kurt already going on the AA. It should be a very chaotic lane, top lane. Obviously you already get dudes all the way over here. Roll in, long range, misses from Kurdo. He's going to run in anyways. AA is, again, very, very squishy. He does not like being rolled on by an Earth Spirit, so Kurdo is looking to punish that hero. Meanwhile, and what will, oh god, be our most interesting lane is DK Ogre versus Nyx Dawnbreaker, which is... Oh, it's never a great sign when your most interesting lane is DK Ogre versus Nyx Dawnbreaker, a 4 melee lane with DK in it. We'll roll again, this top lane by Kurdo. As a result, it will be no kill. It's still nearly a kill, though. Enough may go for the kill. Mokio jukes it on out. Enough is running forward. He's still running on the Gyro, and Gyro juked it out through the trees. No death on either side. Correction, this top lane will be the most interesting lane. I don't know why I thought it would be bottom lane. No, it's definitely the most interesting lane. Because you have Earth Spirit, who is an inherently interesting hero. He does things. He simply does things. Gyro runs forward. Enough's relatively low on the mana. Roll in by Kurdo. Enough's dropping. First one goes to Mokio's Gyrocopter. They'll run down Kurdo as well. 2 kills for Mellow, fellas. They're most certainly not Mellow right now. Meanwhile, bot lane's a 1-for-1 trade. A big brawl between all the melee brawlers bottom lane. Both subs go down. Both cores live, though on relatively low HP. But of course, being on low HP and surviving is always good for the DK. Because again, he's playing DK. He has health regen. In return, sups from the Netherrealm. Kurdo's thinking about a roll right now. I'll give you the Kurdo brainwave cam. He's thinking about rolling. He wants to go in. He smells it. He sees it. He can sense it. I mean, all his senses are going crazy right now. Meanwhile, bot lane Shello has been stunned by Big Dave, a.k.a. Aurora Wife. Be gone as well. Meanwhile, top lane is a roll in by Kurdo. But Mokio still lives. Meanwhile, bot lane Wife escapes. Back to top lane. Kurdo remains alive as well, but needs to perhaps keep the pressure on, knowing that the Dire are split. This ward placed by Kurdo himself spotted out the Gyro. Perhaps he can now go for a roll in against the A, knowing the A is alone. This guy right here has no friends for the next about 30 seconds. So in that regards, playing the 2v1, you run on forward. Notice, Enough is posting up here. He wants to zone him away, even out of experience into possible. In AA, knowing that, is going to pull this small camp. Again, this ward spots out everything. It's so much information. Notice, he's going to stack the ancient camp knowing the A is not even in experience range, so... yeah, I just love their rewards, man. I just do. Speaking of stacks, I believe Dire are stacked as well. Yeah, they're stacking for their Gyrocopter, so stack-on-stack action will be occurring on this, this fine evening. They're seeing the 4-minute water runes. I believe, yeah, both mid laners will get one of the 2 water runes. Nothing too unorthodox there. Perhaps Lefty could have committed to get the second one, but probably wasn't worth his time to go for it. Perhaps Orb was on cooldown anyways.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yes, good tea. If anyone out there is a tea drinker, I would recommend, especially if you're a fan of like lighter, sweeter teas you add your own sugar to, you know. Twining's white tea is quite good. Big fan. Drinking some right now, and it's good. Got a nice smooth taste to it. Bottom lane, we see again rotation through the twin gate comes Jay Kurdo, aka Baboon. He's looking on around, looking at Radiant Vision. They see the Nyx. They do not. They now see Wife. Wife on less than half HP is the ideal target. In comes a ping from Ultra Gunner. They're gonna run towards the Dawnbreaker. There's the DK stun. Hammer away, but it's a kick from Kurdo. Rolls being held for time. He's not even needed. The kill will go to Ultra Gunner. Meanwhile, notice, look where Enough is. A lot of times in those 3v2 scenarios, you see the 2v1 occur in the opposite lane, but Enough was positioned back far enough to not be gone on in the 2v1. Not the Gyro A really do anything anyways, but you know, the concept is there. Mid lane, both mid laners are 6. Cello rotates on over. Perhaps it is a dive brewing, but again, despite the ward, it's more of a rune camp situation. Runes have been secured, though, for the Dire, for the Timbersaw. It's an arcane rune for Vico. What I'll do with that one, probably hit creeps. Interesting play there. I love it from Vico. I'm not sure why he did it the way, because usually you pause, and then you explain the pause. But I actually respect that. He tells why he's pausing, and then he pauses. It's quite the flair on that one. It's the sort of thing that I would do. Which, whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing, you can take for yourself. But little things in Dota, they entertain me sometimes. Looking over at the CS, there's nothing really too wild and crazy. Everything's really around as expected. Mid lane actually has gone the way of the Timbersaw. 41-7 versus Puck's 30-1. Thought it'd be a relatively even lane given that Puck had counter pick, but instead it's Vico who was pulled ahead. And then, of course, in the safe lane, Ultra having a grand old time there. 34-11 versus Wife 17-4. I would expect the DK to do well in that lane, but it's perhaps a little better than I expected. In the top lane, that's perhaps the most interesting situation CS-wise. Both the Gyro and the Visage are not CSing that well. Both, again, because there's been so much brawling going on in this lane. It's probably good for the Visage, though, given the Gyro, of course, is that primary win condition, and Visage simply is not. He's 24-9 versus Gyro's 20-4. So again, a CS lead both in denies and last hits. Looking over at net worth, it's around as expected there. You see DK, Timbersaw 1 and 2, and really, they're far and away the top 2 heroes right now. Good tea. Good tea. Kind of want to brew some more tea, actually, but the problem is brewing more tea when you're casting is difficult, because you don't necessarily know when you're going to be able to pour more hot water into a mug. Hypothetically, I could keep, like, the whistler on and then just walk away during the draft. I could just walk away during the draft, but it's probably not in good form. Even then, I really need more tea. I drink enough tea. I'm trying to drink more tea to avoid drinking more Monster energy drink. Not that I don't like Monster, but, you know, it's not necessarily that good for the heart. And it's much more expensive than just, you know, a tea bag. You buy a can of Monster in bulk, maybe $1.50 per can. Obviously, if you get it from, like, a supermarket or wherever as an individual can, you know, it's $2.50 plus. Bottom lane, Ultra and Kurdo are here. In comes Big Dave as well, and it'll be a big kill on Wife barring a miracle for the Dawnbreaker. We see Ancient Apparition TPing in. So will Timbersaw with the double TPs. They say, you know what? We're a little bit too scared to go in and fight. The TP of Timbersaw was cancelled by Lefty. Perhaps with better coordination, they went up for the dive anyways. But regardless, the TP has been cancelled. The gank bottom has been cancelled. Nothing will occur. Perhaps we'll see a little bit of fight over this dire side of Wisdom Rune, but probably not. Or perhaps we are, actually. Both Ogre and Earth Spirit will run over. It'll be a 2v2 fight. Dire scan. Radiant also scanned earlier. Here we go. They'll go for the AA. AA is low. Is there an impale? Yes, there is. Fantastic. Perfect from Shallow Mellow. That's an absolute perfect stringing the needle on that one from the next assassin. However, there's a kill on the Ancient Apparition, but it will be vengeance time. Aurora TP's away. Big Dave is fine, but his buddy Kurdo, J. Kurdo Baboon, is not so lucky. So, again, 1-for-1 trade. More importantly, the Wisdom Rune did go to the Dire. Meanwhile, on the west side, we saw the Visage grab his uncontested. So, uncontested Wisdom Rune. Hypothetically, the DK might go through the Twin Gate in the near future to apply some pressure to that topside T1 tower. We're already seeing a bit of pressure being put in that direction. Visage, of course, is playing Visage. He's going to dive for Mokio. In comes the Ignite from Big Dave. Wife comes in with the Heal and the Solar Guardian. Mokio is fine, but actually not that fine. Needs to be very, very careful. Wife tanks one Soul Assumption. In comes Ogre. In TP's Ancient Apparition as a counterbalance. Cold Feet comes forward, looking to stun Big Dave. They'll end up getting stunned. Call down, the follow-up slow and damage is enough to secure the kill, and now it's another kill for the Gyrocopter. Enough, meanwhile, has to juke to the west side, away from the Timbersaw, who's looking to, perhaps, apply a lot of counter pressure. So that siege that I was presuming would occur has not occurred. It'll have to be a little bit later. Perhaps with that minute 10 siege units, perhaps. I think I might have said perhaps twice, but it is what it is. Seems like we're doing a little bit of farming for now. We are, of course, fans of agriculture over here. We are indeed at our hours for regularly scheduled agriculture,
Is under attack.
but again, of course, enough is not okay. He is not consulting the Farmer's Almanac. He wants to harvest rather than sow.
Radiant's
Tower's
bottom
already
tower
half
is under
HP,
attack.
but yeah, it's still alive. Seems like Dire are going to largely abandon it. Malphals do not want to play this top area anymore, and there's just too much Visage-based pressure. But the problem is, killing the tower this early means you perhaps could go through the Twin Gate or even walk mid and then play with the Siege Unit for the minute 10 tower push. Perhaps enough we'll just go for a farm play instead. Actually, with the Glyph. Man, this tower, it's living just long enough to delay these map movements. Cause a slight bit of a problem in that regard.
Dire's top tower.
I suppose it is what it is.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Top tower goes down as our first tower of the game. Both Sups and the Visage are top lane. They're still applying 3 to the Dire side jungle. Dire, for their part, are entirely dodging that one. Saying, you know what? We just don't want to be here. We can play our tri-camp, stack it up for our gyrocopter. Problem is, Gyro's only got 2 points in that flat cam. He's 4-0-2, which indicates, again, he was involved heavily in those brawls.
Radiant's
And
bottom
as a result, he is he's going to have to wait to level 4 flat cannon down that one. Meanwhile, mid lane, I almost missed the kill. Regardless, they easily brought down the gyrocopter with 4 running forward. There are TPs looking for counter kills, but it will be a clean escape by the funny zone. If you're wondering why I almost missed out, I was distracted by the Twitch chat. I was reading some banter in the Twitch chat. It was quite funny. Bot lane stun forward by Ultra. Nick's ulti away by Cello Mellow, and perhaps he'll wrap around with a vendetta. Pun entirely intended. He actually almost dies to Puck. He'll run towards Kurdo anyways. Kurdo ends up rolling Did he have vision on that? I don't think he did. No detection. He just had a game sense, apparently. Or maybe he's a little bit lucky. But it's better to be lucky than good. Top lane A goes down. Back to the bot lane. Kurdo surely dies. So this is a trade of supports. Top lane, I did not watch that one. But again, Visage and his familiars just ran down the AA, which
is under attack.
I suppose is the Ancient Apparition's story right there. You, of course, do want to get that ulti. That is the big ticket ability. I'm sure Kabotha 6-string, being a literal Grand Master AA player, is well aware of that. Tried to get his XP to secure that, but
Radiant structures are fortified.
again, it's like it's a neuron activation situation. If you are a hero like, say, Visage, you see an AA, you simply go on forward. Speaking of forward, bot lane, Kurdo rolls forward into a silence from Lefty. They'll certainly bring down the Dawnbreaker. They'll try to hammer to the south side last time. But again, that's still a kill. Could actually 4-man stun from life, but despite the 4-man stun, there is no surviving the inevitable. Kill goes to the Puck. With the tower going down, there's a trade of towers now. T1 in both safe lanes have died. And now, again, Radiant will recoalesce middle lane. They've congregated there once again. They're perhaps looking towards a kill. They see Vico on Kurdo's Fresh Lord. Ultra pops the ulti. He has become the dragon. Roll away by Kurdo. Ice Blast. Will end up barely missing thanks to the science, but they still brought him down. Ice Blast not needed. Huge kill for Mellow fellows. That siege has been busted. Perhaps we'll see a counter siege instead. With Lefty playing the defense, seems like that one will once again not happen. Good tea. It's simply good tea. Yep, we're farming. We're stacking. We're farming. I think Colonel probably should have stacked one of these camps here, but, you know, that's 4 players for you. Us 5 players being able to stack. Instead, he had his eyes on the prize being the Wisdom Rune, which, again, understandable. Wisdom Rune good. That's finally level 6 for the Earth Spirits. And with his 6, every hero in the game has their 6. Mid lane. Ogre Magi's Fire Blast. Ignite flies. Coil has been snapped by the Timber Saw, and well, Vico is a little bit too tanky. He is indeed smiling as he waddles on away, but it is tower defense time. Visage comes from the north side. We see Radiant establishing a perimeter here to, again, get that pressure towards the tower. Roll from long range will be short. Shello simply walked away invis from the Ogre Magi. Tower, though, will not be so lucky. It cannot use Vendetta and walk away. Note, though, the Radiant using a lot of Sentry Wards. They may struggle with the shop stock quite soon. Shallow, mid lane, will impale Puck. Puck will dodge out the Ice Blast. Now, at this point, it will be enough to take a lot of damage from the Timber Saw. Orc comes through from Visage. Wife, Solar Guardians towards his Timber Saw. Enough left to run away. He's barely alive. Ogre will tank the ire of the Dire and gets brought down. As a result, it's already 1 kill, but only 1 kill for Mellow Fellows. 0 kills for the Funny Zone. Perhaps we'll see some more action mid. Action mid is brewing, but probably not. So what big items are we looking at to actually have Dota 2 occur today? We do the blink on the Timber Saw, but we're gonna need more than a blink on Timber Saw for stuff to actually meaningfully escalate. Visage Axe perhaps is that big one I'm looking at. BKB on DK as well. Puck perhaps could go for a blink as well. On the Dire side again, we're not too far from a Harpoon on Wife. And we're working towards that about halfway through the Mystic Kill bottom. We're about halfway to the Ags on Gyrocopter. Bot lane, Vico and Wife just annihilated the Earth Spirit of Kurta. Here comes Cello once again, Invis. Once again, running on forward. Orchid comes through. Now Nyx. Mid-combo was interrupted. Call down flies. Ogre Magi is out, but it's a trade for the Ogre Magi thanks to the Puck. Now Dreamflow there on Gyro. Gyro will attempt to fight. The result is inevitable now. 2 for 1. Wife comes into the 2-man stun. Vico chains through to bring down the Visage. Now 2 for 2 trade. That'll be the end of our fight. A relatively even 2 for 2. But if anyone won it, it will be the Radiant side of Funny Zone. They brought down the Gyrocopter, delayed his Ag's timing, and as a result, we are going to again return to farming. If you are a fan of farming, then again, it's another little block of farming. You know, if we have like a TV guide style of presentation on tonight's series, there's a lot of little micro blocks of farming. You know, you get your big block of farming earlier on, and some big blocks of farming later on. This is sort of micro blocks between our mid-game, early to mid-game sort of brawls. Link in by Vico. Looking for the Ogre Magi, but he dodged out the Impale. Once again, Timber Chain forward by Vico. Meanwhile, top lane, going in for Wife in the 2v1. Wife tried to lifesteal on up with the Luminosity passive, but thanks to the phase shift from Lefty, that did not work on out. Regardless of 1-for-1 trade, a trade up for Funny Zone, trading a sup for core. It is the poorest of the 6 cores in the game, but a core nonetheless. And we are slowly, for Funny Zone, bringing it on in through the top lane, looking towards that top tier 2 tower, but again, it's the siege is not. I mean, White just keeps giving his body to stop that. Says, you know what? I will die, but my tower will live. Very selfless move from the Dawnbreaker. Blink Coil by Lefty into the silence. In comes out the follow-up silence. They'll attempt the kill right here, right now, under that tower. Soul Assumption is there. Wife's still alive now. In comes Vico with a vengeance. He annihilates Lefty. Ice Blast. Elias long range, but it's only on top of the corpse. Regardless, 2 kills for Mellow, fellas, and Funny Zone. That's a real funny engagement for them. That is not what they wanted, and we once again return to farming. Speaking of our primary Radiant side farmer, Ultra Gunnair is going on in for the BKB. At least in the career right now. And that is correct. So he's a Mask of Madness, Armlet, and BKB. He'll go on over for a Daedalus next. That'll be the big damage item he's looking for, of course. Meanwhile, speaking of dudes that are just doing damage, Vico, with a Blink, and a Kaya, is working towards his Aghanim Scepter in this game. This could be a very hard game to bring down that Timbersaw later on. And hypothetically, you throw everything at him, but Radiant's Funny Zone largely have had some damage issues as of recently. Not that it's irreconcilable. Clearly, they're purchasing damage across the board, but I don't know. We are not looking at the highest trio of DPS cores in the Puck, DK, and Visage. Perhaps they were hoping Kurdo would provide a little bit more, but he's not the Vessel quite yet. Bottom lane, roll in. Brings him towards Visage. Visage gets absolutely one-banged by the Wombo combo, and his TP energy is canceled as well via death. I mentioned that during the draft is that this AA Nyx Dawnbreaker combo can do a lot of damage. Look at the breakdown on the death of the Visage, and again, it's Nyx damage mostly. You have the Ice Blast, you have the Solar Guardian damage. It's just way too much to realistically survive on really anybody for a very, very long time. As a result, Dire see an opportunity to grab a free Roshan. They snag it on up and walk on away. Gyro. We'll have the Aegis. I don't really expect too much to happen with the Aegis, but again, just having it is nice. Perhaps you can go for some tier 2 bottom, maybe secure a tier 1 mid as well, maybe even go for like a tier 1, tier 2 Tormentor sort of string of objectives top lane if the opportunity presents itself. For now, though, Radiant Smoke up as 4. They find Vico, but Vico blinks away in time. He's close, but he snaps it immediately, and now at this point, they're just not going to kill him. Radiant unleashed the arsenal, but it was an absolute dud. Now Cello is scouting on around. Goes for Big Dave, and Big Dave is big dead. Vico is unstoppable. 6-0 and 4 on the Timbersaw. He's ironically trapped in trees, though. Only temporarily, given he's, you know, a Timbersaw. During all that, Baboon, a.k.a. Kurdo, TP'd away from the action. They tried to go on the east side here, but again, the stuns were a little too busy doing something else, I suppose.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
The Radiant Ward spots Wife out. Only problem is Wife is playing
Radiant's bottom
Dawnbreaker. A hero who is notoriously good at getting across the map from point A to point B. Speaking of point B, Dire at bottom lane. Kurdo rolls in. He kicks Gyro under that tower, but Dream Coil is still on cooldown from the last fight. Earth Spirit's already dead now. In comes Solar Guardian to heal up the Gyro and the Timbersaw. Call down flies. It'll actually end up hitting over and the Dragon Knight. DK will BKB, but this is not a good fight at all for Funny Zone. Ultra's forced to run away. Wife tanks the Soul Assumption, and again, it's a free team fight win. You get 2 support kills, and perhaps you're going to go for that tier 2 bottom tower as well. Note that Cello is still scouting things out right now. He's looking on around, trying to find any stragglers, but the stragglers do not exist. They're dead right now, so. Again, free tower, free kill. And for Mellow Fellows, they are in an absolutely fantastic game state. I was perhaps a bit wary of their chances in this series, but they are absolutely showing up so far in game number 1. Up by 7,000 gold. 9 kills as well. What do our graphs say? But the graphs are getting a little bit more optimistic on the Mellow chance to win, up to a 66% chance for Dire to win. Though the XP lead and gold lead are not all that large quite yet, of course.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Looking at the Aegis timer, there's about a minute 50 left for the gyrocopter of Mokio. Therefore, there's time to go for at least one more objective, perhaps two. Cello gets spotted by Lefty, but he walks into another Radiant Sentry Ward. They'll easily bring him down. Meanwhile, they'll head to Mokio, who has 2 lives of BKB ready to go, roll forward. And the big H-Tap burst is fantastic from Jay Curto! And now it's going to be an absolute disaster. A is dead, Mokio will BKB, wipe the Solar Guardian towards his friend and core teammate. It's a 3v5 right now. Let's make it a 3v4, so now gets one time of the Timber Saw by the Ultra Gunner, who's still with the blue chakram from Vico, and that should be the end of our fight. I do believe Radiant won that, but it was not a free win. They lost a core, they lost a tower, and though they brought down a gyro, he did have that Aegis, so it is a no-sweat death for Mokio. Meanwhile, Curto is... Where is Curto exactly? Why is he here? Why are you here, Baboon? Where are you going? What do you plan on accomplishing over here? I don't know. I just don't know what he's doing. But you know what? Sometimes you play Earth Spirit, you go where the world tells you to go. You follow the beat of your own drum. You roll on around at the speed of sound. And by sound, he's definitely not rolling around that quickly right now. It's like the speed of... I don't know. I think the speed of a tiger. They're pretty fast, but nowhere near as fast as sound. Pretty sure sound is something like 700 miles an hour. Tiger runs probably closer to like 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, so... matter of differences. We are, of course, back to farming. If you're a fan of farming, you get a lot of that tonight, of course. When you have Ultra Gunner in the lobby, you're always farming. There aren't many of these sort of prototypical farming carries and lads. Ultra might be the platonic ideal of that version of carry. You flip the carries and lads who are better than Ultra. Usually they're more, you know, they're active, take over the game sort of carries. Ultra's like, you know what, guys? I'm just going to hit the creeps. I like creeps. And you know what? I empathize. Hitting creeps can be quite therapeutic. Just to compare it to a lot of the other actions in Dota. Big thing, of course, that we will be looking at is the next Roshan. Problem is, next Roshan is not going to be here for at least 2 minutes. Perhaps 5 minutes. On average, about 3.5 minutes. When that day will come, we'll soon know, but for now we are in the dark. Speaking in the dark, Curto is in the dark for the gank on him bottom lane. That is more than enough damage. That's overkill by about maybe 1,500 damage by my counts. That's a lot of damage. I think Ice Blast was there, it wasn't even needed. Yeah. Meanwhile, top lane, they're going in for White, who's silenced by Puck. In comes Distance with the Orchid, currently half HP. He's holding his BKB, baiting things out though. Now Lefty is a target, get harpooned forward. He'll phase shift dodge the Starbreaker. DK stun, hits Timbersaw, now Wife BKBs as Vico pops the Aghanims on Timbersaw. Nobody dies. Nobody's even now all that close to dying with Wife walking away, so... yeah, our fight is over. Teams use spells and cooldowns. Nobody dies. Now with the Earth Spirit respawning, Radiant Smoke up on 4 to say, you know, we don't really need the stuff we used. I mean, Coil's cool and all, but we have key things like Ultra Gunner BKB, and their Dawnbreaker does not have his BKB, so perhaps they'll look to do something. Seems like, again, I intentionally or not, the gank has been dodged. They're not playing in that dire jungle top lane vicinity as the tower is getting pressure applied to it by enough, but enough of that, because mid lane they're going once again for Vico. This time Vico was stunned enough. He's still barely alive. They can't bring him down. Ultra tried his hardest but could not do so. Meanwhile, Cello one bangs the puck straight for Nyx's life, but again, we see White taking so much damage. BKB is on cooldown, apparently it's not even needed. Meanwhile, Curl solo killed AF, actually affected the main fight enough. Will Stone form himself. He'll try to somehow get away, but in comes that stun. It's perfect from Wife. As a 2-for-2 trade. Largely speaking, the main body team fight went 2 for 1. As on the side fight, we see Kurto again, well played, isolated and bring down the AA in the back lines, but it does not change the result. Where we're given the heroes that were traded as 2 subs for 2 cores, it's a win for the Mellow fellows. And they're just not being very mellow. They're being quite aggro, one might say, and at a certain point, you might start to get concerned for Funny Zone. Is I don't particularly like the scalability on the Radiant lineup compared to the Dire lineup. You look at these heroes again. AA is notoriously good scaling sup. Nyx is notoriously good scaling sup. You know, Dawnbreaker Timbersaw a little bit less so, but Gyrocopter again scales very, very well. And these cores, they're simply going to not carry into late game the way the Gyrocopter does. I'm a little bit concerned. Good roll mid lane by Kurto, but again, where's the dust? There's no dust on Earth Spirits. Oh no, I expected more from you, my man. Oh, how does he hit that roll? Blindly from long range. And it's nothing anyways. 2 perfect rolls. And nothing happens. What can you do? And I mentioned it earlier, is that the way the sentries are being purchased, the Funny Zone side could run into Sentry Ward problems, and that appears to be the case right now. They're just, they just don't have them. Here we go, Ice Blast on the way, looking for Ultra Arrow, BKB, but he's still stunned, he's still brought down. Alberta's finest has been turned to mincemeat. And his BKB's on cooldown even if he does buyback. It's an absolute disaster for the Funny Zone, and now as a result, before Roshan even is taken, we'll go high ground on Mellow fellas. Radiant Glyph, understandably. But where is the defense? It's simply not here. It's literally Ogre Magi in a Bloodlusted tower. Big courier snipe by Lefty. That's a dataless for Gyrocopter, delayed for the next 3 minutes, but well, it'll end up being that bottom rack's taken. Meanwhile, oh no, Kurto is so dead. He'll attempt the TP. It will not work. Goodbye. So again, we're at the point now where the play seems obvious. You've grabbed the racks bottom, great racks to take. You then grab Roshan. You then, again, you bring it down top lane. You control the Radiant Tri-Camp, and from there you manually bring in mid. You bring in top, as you have natural equilibrium bottom. From there you can easily, you know, win the economic game if you haven't already done so. And then if, for whatever reason, Funny Zone become emboldened enough to take the team fight, well, you fight them because you're stronger at fighting than they are right now, so obviously the game's not quite over yet, but again, this is an extraordinarily favored game state for Mellow fellas. Somehow the win probability is only 70-30. I disagree with the assessment of the AI today. I think it's at least 85-15 right now, and I think it will require either big outplays from Funny Zone or big misplays from Mellow fellows to make this game competitive again. Both of those, by the way, could happen. Again, some very good Radiant players, and the Dire are not infallible. No Dota player is. But here we go. To the high ground we go. And by high ground, I mean low ground, middle lane T2. Meanwhile, bot lane, we see Cello and Lefty. I'm not sure if either is aware the other is there. And there's a one-shot combo. They unleashed the ion cannon from short range. A little bit of a ice blast on top, but I mean, it's a dead puck. It's a dead mid T2. It'll be dead top towers. Top T1's already dead. Top T2 is honestly not that long. I've freeze-drawn the X. It's just not going to live, I don't think. But for now, again, Mellow fellows are not in a rush. They really just are not in a rush right now. And I don't blame them. Like, if you're fine waiting for the Daedalus and the Courier of Mokyo, you're fine waiting for these key items to get purchased and arrive. For the time being, the lead will not get any smaller, so... Again, methodical, conservative sort of dodo from LFL is not going to shove their heads into the base for no good reason. Speaking of shoving their heads into the base, Mokyo tanks a lot of damage. Tries Satanic for lifesteal, gets absolutely nothing out of it. He'll be out of action for a little bit longer, but eventually he'll Satanic on up. He'll be fine. This Radiant Tormentor could be a target for either team potentially, but I mean that's a dangerous proposition for either team, really. Dire scan, wary of potentially a smoke gank up into the high ground, but yeah, Funny Zone. They're thinking about it. They really are, not from that angle, perhaps from this angle instead. They're towards Tormentor. Tormentor is taken by the Dire. Shard goes to Cello Mellow. So here we go again. We're playing the economic game. We're doing our due diligence. We're bringing in the mid wave. We're bringing in the top wave. But it will naturally come in eventually, and the time comes, we can perhaps go for that siege. Problem is, you're running out of Aegis timer. It's a minute 30 left for Mokyo's Gyrocopter. Funny Zone smoke up as 5. They'll wrap around from the top lane towards the tri-camp. Looking at Radiant Vision, they see very little. They will perhaps run into Ancient Apparition. Meanwhile, from the south side, Vico is waddling on over. Does he know what he's walking into? Perhaps not. As Funny's gonna walk away from the Timbersaw. So AA gets away. Timbersaw as well. Timbersaw. We're still perhaps running for Kabotha's 6th string, the AA, to pick off, kill, start a fight off, but with that Blink Dagger on the Ancient Apparition, he's a little bit too crafty, hard to lock on down. Mid lane again, Vico is just establishing dominance, so Blink in towards enough. Orchid comes through, and next assassin Fox has already been brought down. Ice Blast flies, Aurora is dead, Ice Blast lit nothing, but it seems not to matter. Enough has about 300 HP. Vico will finish that kill at some point, I am quite sure. Roll in, hits Nyx, Ogre Magi, buys it into the game's desperation time. Puck buys back, Mystic buys back, but again, we're crumbling. Kurto is dead. He's got no buyback. And Dire still have 5. They still have 2 lives on Gyro. That will be lost in 10 seconds, however. So perhaps with all the buybacks forced out, Mellowfellows might back off again. But with a butterfly finish on Mokyo, I mean, why not? You're pretty powerful. You're not going to get any more strong relative to the opponents to an extent. Here we go. Gyro walks up slowly, hits the T3 mid. He'll get nullified, but he'll still Satanic. X towards Ultra Gunner is there, but he BKBs on time to the BK. Timbersaw BKBs as well. Ice Blast flies, hits, I believe, 1. Mokyo turns on around with a bit of damage and then walks away. So the T3 was brought down. There was significant, though not complete, damage to the structure of the barracks. And now we back off temporarily, perhaps for Vico to lifesteal with Satanic. For the time being, though, we're chilling. Kind of. I mean, relative to the game state, we're chilling. Of course, we're not chilling, but, you know. Dota's a relative game. Worst case scenario, we have to wait for 3rd Roshan, but honestly, I don't think Mellowfellows want to wait for 3rd Roshan. To To an extent, the longer you drag the game on, the more variance you introduce to the game. Problem is, never mind, no problem at all. Vico and 6-string are just fine. They get gone on, but the damage is just lacking. Is that a... Oh... So you waited long enough, and now look what has been purchased by the Canadian carry himself, Ultra Gunner. It's a Divine Rapier. Now that adds variance to the game. Potentially this could matter. Eventually this could be the item that turns things around. You get some lucky dataless crits, you man on up, you unleash the power of the Dragon Knight. You look like Skyrim over here, and perhaps that's how you you win the game. Of course, the win conditions for Mellow, they are numerous. One of them is to go for third Roshan. Another is to kill the DK, make him lose his rapier. That one, of course, is to kill the dieback heroes. If you look at the buyback status, again, Ogre Magi on cooldown, Puck on cooldown, Visage on cooldown, Earth Spirit, DK, they both lack the gold, so... Yeah, it's a hard game state to play in. And Shadow's still poking on around. It's the Dawnbreaker innate. Mellow see everything. They know Earth Spirit is absolutely alone, and well... Seems like he's going to die alone at some points. Tries to run away, but eventually the kill goes the way of Kavoka 6-string's Ancient Apparition, and technically that is not a dieback. Though the Dire don't quite know that he doesn't have buyback, so... Perhaps they'll be a little tiny hair more wary to run it on down, not knowing if it'll be a 5v5 fight or a 5v4 fight. Of course, we, the viewers, know it's a 5v4, but... In the Radiant also know that, but Dire do not. He's alive in 20 seconds anyways. We're seeing a fight of centuries. Yep. Third Roshan is alive, by the way. I think I see a remarkably early Roshan respawn, if memory serves. I wasn't keeping great track of it, but if I had to guess, that would be a remarkably early Roshan respawn. Either way, though, I don't think Dire are quite aware of that. But again, if you're going to wait this long to end the game, you might as well secure the win, get that third Roshan, grab the Aegis, the banner, the refresher, the cheese, all of the goodie bag. It's like Halloween night all over again. And Mokio, the gyrocopter, says, you know what? I like Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. I want the goodie bag. Of course, Funny Zone, they're well aware what's going on. They heard the Roshan roar. They're smoked up as 5. It's desperation time, one might say, but... Well, they're nowhere near fleet of foot enough to get there in time. Roshan is dead. Gyro has 2 lives. He grabs a lot of goodies. There's still a cheese in the pit. If no one even cares about the cheese anymore. And here we go. Roll in. Finds Nyx. Nyx is being gone on the Carapace in time. There's Solar Guardian keeping him alive as well. This could be an absolute disaster. Ice Blast. They'll hit a couple heroes there. Cello is dead. Mokio losing fight with Rapier. DK. DK. Oh, no. Almost. Almost enough damage from Ultra Gunner, but lucky into. Who has the Rapier? Anyone? Anyone?
I've always wanted
Rapier?
to be a
There
giant
it is.
spacecraft.
Rapier lost. Game lost. Dominant game 1 win from Mellow. Not what I expected, by the way. That is not what I expected. I was coming in under the impression that Funny Zone were the favorite. Perhaps wrongly. I think many people in Lads, besides myself, thought that was the case. But right now, Funny Zone, they are 1 game away from dropping to the losers bracket. You know, if you're perhaps of the opinion that Group B was this superior group far and away ahead of Group B, then this could be a rude awakening because, the number one seed of Group B, they took care of business in their opening series, but now the group in my heart, Group B, they're going to perhaps drop to losers if they can't win both of the next two games, not one, but both of the next two games. So I am going to cut us to a break between game one and game two. We'll be back for game two of Funny Zone versus Mellow Fellows in a few minutes.
Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds.
Impossible.
Radiant team ban. Radiant team ban. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds.
Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome to game number 2 of Mellow Fellows versus the Funny Zone.
Dire team
We
ban.
are currently on the precipice of a pretty major upset.
10 seconds.
Mellow Fellows, they have struck first in this 3-round
5 seconds
bout.
remaining.
They have one round won. Got some key uppercuts, some key jabs over on Funny Zone. Funny Zone, they have they've consulted with their corner. They got squeegee with the wet towel. They talked with Koryak, I'm sure. They said, you know what, guys, talk with Shrek. We're the Funny Zone. We're not just gonna bow down to the Mellow Fellows, our former player wife, Cello Mellow. No, I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna go and assume the stand-in even. So, of course, they're looking to they're looking to win the game still, win the series even. We have different bans though. So Timbersaw was banned out by Funny Zone, Dawnbreaker as well. So again, a number of respect bans here. It means that again, Pangolier was let through the ban phase. AA once again was let through the ban phase as well, and AA is once again grabbed. No, Ancient Apparition is not considered a good hero right now, but at a certain point, you almost have to respect game. And game respects game sometimes. If I'm not banning AA, I'm banning Nyx.
10
Because
seconds
then you can have
remaining.
that Nyx AA combination, get that long range arsenal.
5 seconds remaining.
And perhaps as a lefty's weighing out right now is ban Nyx. He banned Monkey, okay. Again, another respect ban, but I'm a little bit scared of this Nyx hero being picked again. Maybe you grab Pangolier and you grab these two other tanky cores who just don't die to it, but I think you have to ban. If I'm lefty, I am not thinking about it. I'm banning Nyx right now. I want them to have a different support duo.
Radiant team ban.
But they respect ban the Invoker. Oh boy. So if I'm Vico, I'm just picking Nyx here. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm grabbing Nyx. Probably this is picking at 13. I know a lot of people have trended away from grabbing your 2 supports, your first 2 picks,
10
but
seconds remaining. Radiant team
why not? Just do
Dire
it.
team pick.
Or perhaps not. So Mars, who made it through the ban phase, was selected in the bans earlier. Now is selected in the picks this time around. Speaking of good pairings with AA, Spear into Cold Feet, that's a pretty good combo. Arena into Ice Blast,
5
that's an
seconds
even better
remaining.
combo. So again, Funny Zone, I perhaps still think they're the better team, but the problem is they have to play like it. I think you play into these sort of like AA Mars drafts, you need to outplay your opponents. Because their draft, macro wise, is just so, both macro and micro wise, it's quite simple. But the thing is, there's nothing wrong with picking a draft that just works. You know, it's amateur league wisdom and has been for nearly a decade now. Just pick the big circle abilities. What does Mars have? Large circle. What does AA have? Large circle. Sure, you do have a sphere. The dire side. 2 spheres actually if you got concoction, but oh man. Wait, did they just pick wait, what? Did they just pick Alchemist into AA?
10 seconds remaining.
Do I just not understand Dota anymore or something?
5 seconds remaining.
Because traditionally speaking, you would pick AA as a counter to Alchemist. Maybe Alchemist is just such a good hero now, though, where it's like, you know what? We don't even care if we're getting directly hard countered by perhaps the hardest counter of the hero. You didn't ban it this game, therefore we picked it.
Radiant team.
I mean, it's to an extent a block pick as well. Witch Doctor, the follow-up pick. This is a fascinating one already. I don't know about a lot of this, but
10 seconds remaining.
if something else, Alchemist Witch Doctor should create an interesting safe lane combo, if that is a safe lane combo. For Mellow to have their two harder picks of the draft left, that 16-17 combo. After you pick 17, it kind of plays itself because you have the two bands, and of course you have the final pick. But for the time being, they're in their more difficult to finesse pick situation. If I'm them, I'm probably grabbing a support and a mid laner. I'm grabbing a Nyx, and maybe I'm grabbing a Spirit Hero. That's what I would personally do in the situation if I were them. I think the Nyx once again will pair very well with the A and the Mars. I think Spirit again would also pair very well with the concept. Obviously, Vico is a pretty good Spirit player. There are, of course, a number of very strong Spirit players in lands, but Vico certainly is one of them. We actually are very blessed as a league to have a lot of really, because obviously you think about Spirit heroes, they're generally some of the more fun heroes in Dota the cast. And the fact that we have so many good mid laners at all the spirits is just so nice. I mean, Bingu, DKMP, Vico come to mind immediately, but there's plenty more who play the spirits well. I don't mean to disrespect any mid laner I'm not mentioning by not mentioning their name directly, but breeds the R for their spirit, but with Cole as well. There's so many good spirit players.
Radiant team pick.
Speaking of Cole, what's happening in the other series right now, actually? Probably go check on those, see what's going on with the other series. Let's go check on the lads' Dota buff ticket, shall we? See what's already ended, what hasn't ended.
10 seconds.
So right now, underdogs.
5 seconds.
They 2-0'd Blucher, apparently. If that is correct, it seems like they 2-0'd Blucher. That's a big win for underdogs, for of course for Cole and company. Yeah, 2-0 win. Seems like it was two somewhat contested games, but two nonetheless. That's a 2-0 for underdogs. Another win for Group B.
Team pick.
Over at Bad Faith Blucher versus Wilted Roses, they're up 1-0 right now in that series. And over in the fourth series of the night, we have KU and I Don't Care Sign Me Up, who took game one in dominant fashion over Nebula. So we have one series down, 3 to go tonight. Yeah, this certainly seems to be a decent enough night for Group B, though. Getting the upset over Blucher, I hardly knew her, and again, potentially an upset of Funny Zone here. We shall see. We do have an actual draft on our hands, though. I was so distracted by the larger happenings in the league. Hoodwink and DK were selected. Not what I would have gone for, but very fine picks nonetheless. Hoodwink Mars, of course, quite a strong lane pairing. DK. Actually, no, I'm not gonna defend DK. I'm honestly kind of out on Dragon Knight at this point. I don't want to see this hero anymore. I don't like casting it. I don't think it's that good. I think it's overrated, and I'm tired of seeing it. I honestly don't really know what the DK does this game. I'm sure it does something. I mean, it's tanky. It does damage. You buy Red Dragon for him. You buy DKB Daedalus Armlet, but honestly, I'm out. I'm out on DK. I'm just done with this hero. Plenty Zone for their part. They grab the Dark Willow for Jake Erdo.
5 seconds remaining.
Which means we have we're starting to put together our side lanes. Starting to put together what's going to be there. Seems like both teams are in need of a mid still. Funny Zone certainly have that impression. They ban out Puck. Potentially a lot of
10 seconds.
spirit heroes could get banned out here.
5 seconds remaining. Radiant team.
For now, Magnus banned. Queen of Pain and all the spirits are still in the pool, by the way, if you're looking at these sort of more mobile middle laners. Both teams are incredibly low on reserve time, though. Look how low on reserve time they are. There's 10 seconds left for Mellow Fellows. There's 7 seconds left for Funny Zone. They
5 seconds remaining.
really burned it all here, and they banned out the Beastmaster. Oh wait, they banned out offlaners. I'm mentally challenged. Sorry. Got a little bit too caught up in the mid lane heroes that I forgot that Pangalier's a mid laner. Most teams tend to play Pango as mid laner nowadays. Some do play it offline. But this team with Lefty, one of the more prolific Pangolier mid players in Lad's history, they're going to have him play mid Pangolier. That's a Storm banned out as well by Lefty. Saying, you know what? No fun heroes. Speaking of no fun heroes, Doombringer is selected for the Funny Zone. This guy sounds psychotic, but I think Rubik mid sounds really good here. There's so many spells to steal. It's like a pretty good game for it. I don't quite know what's gonna happen, but it's not all that much time left reserve time wise. Where do we go? Okay, we go Earth Spirit. I'm not upset with that pick. Is it optimal? I don't really know, but it sounds fun to me, so I'm fine with it. I look at this dire draft. I think they really turned the draft around with the last couple picks. I was a little bit concerned they were getting out drafted early on, but I think their draft has come together. The Malifels, again, their strategy, it's pretty macro-wise, pretty simple. They press their buttons, it just works. I would lean towards Funny Zone for game 2, but this really could go either way. I'm not the things you're going to want to look at from my perspective. You want to see what happens in this Alchemist lane. Alchemist Witch Doctor versus Mars Hoodwink. I think that'll probably tell the tale of the game. I think if Alchemist can get a good start to the game, start to really accelerate his early game, then he can probably just take it on over and win the game. But if he even draws the lane with Mars Hoodwink, then that could be a huge problem, because then the DK will temple you, and the Earth Spirit's going to roll on you, and the AA will Ice Blast you. All eyes on Ultra Gunner, to paraphrase 2K, or Tupac in that case, not 2K. We shall see. We shall see. I'm looking over at the facets. Everything looks pretty normal to me. I don't see anything too crazy. Bump, bump. All right, if you are just joining us, welcome to game number 2 of this winners bracket best of 3 series in the League of Legends season number 16 playoffs. On the Radiant side, our underdogs, our winners of game 1, 16-8, the 4 seed out of Group B. It is the Mellow Fellows. But now we see perhaps our presumptive favorites, Wounded, going into game 2. Funny Zone need to win both of the next 2 games to advance to the next round of winners. They, of course, were number 1 seed in their group, 20-4 their record. My name is Badger. I'll be guiding you along for that journey, but well, sometimes a cornered animal is the most dangerous. And right now, the Funny Zone, they are that cornered, wounded animal. They will not go down easy. If Mellow win this game, though, I think the discourse changes on the group's balancing. It really does. There's certainly a change in the discourse, put it that way, if that happens. Here we go. Once again, we see action in the Radiant jungle, though this time it's different teams doing it. AA walks in, understandably walks the hell away. It will end up being 2 bounty runes to both teams, nothing too out of the ordinary in this case. Aurora is just walking forward. We see Kurdo maniacally laughing on Dark Willow, getting a tip from Ultra. I'm not quite sure what, maybe it was just the voice line. It is quite the maniacal laugh. If you're, you know, sort of like listing most maniacal to least maniacal laugh, Willow has to be top 5 for sure. Maybe even number 1 most maniacal laughing line. There are, of course, a number of very maniacal sounding laughs in Dota, but not all of them. Some are much more genuine or, in some cases, sarcastic, but there are, of course, our large contingent of maniacal laughers. Mid lane, it's Earthspear versus Pangolier. Okay. Top lane, we have Mars, Hoodwink, taking on Witch Doctor, Alchemist. I expect that to be our interesting lane. And the bottom lane, it's AA and the Dragon Knights taking on Dark Willow and Doombringer. For now, the Willow is isolated, but with the Brambles, Kurdo is causing some issues. It's a lot of scale of Ultra Gunner, the Ultra Killer, to Aurora's sponsor tag, the Ultra Sharder. We need to see what degree of Alchemist play we see from Ultra Gunner. If you're a Funny Zone fan, you need this man to acquire currency. A lot of currency. I'm not quite sure how much he needs to be useful this game, but it's probably a lot. Bottom lane, Willow tanks Cold Feet. That's our first blood again. I think that's 2 games in a row. That's Jake Kurdo dying for first blood. Might have been enough last game actually, but it's off-lane enough Kurdo duo that fed the first blood last game, and they fed again this game. We're seeing an oops from Biko. I'm not quite sure what he did, but apparently it was oops worthy. Unfortunately, though, it's Earthspirit Pangolier, so I wasn't watching that lane. Top lane. The Maledict came out from Big Dave, but despite the damage against his former teammate wife, everyone's still A-okay. Back to the bottom lane. That is a good old Cold Feet from Kabotha 6-string. Actually might end up going down here. It's a little bit too much damage. Now Kurdo, who has our only death of the game, now has our only kill of the well, shouldn't say that. He's been involved in all the kills and deaths this game. He obviously does not have all the kills because the Radiant have a kill, but you know, he's Mr. Worldwide, involved in all our actions so far. I don't know where I'm going with this one anymore, but it is what it is. Bot lane, we're brawling, we're fighting. We're trading. Yep. You're a fan of trading. It's the lane to watch. I think Mokio is having a bit of a rougher start to the game. Obviously, he wasn't necessarily CSing that low in the gyro last game, but once again, he's getting out CS'd. He's at 11-2 versus the Doombringers 18-5. I think it happened in that gyro Visage lane as well last game, so maybe this just happens with Mokio lanes where he just doesn't win the lane and then he gets farm anyways. But yeah. Obviously we play DK, highlighting Cold Feet there, it's not enough. Enough so low right now, but he's not low enough. Instead, Baboon Man's up against Mokio. Mokio ends up being right-clicked down with a Dark Willow. You play Gyrocopter, obviously it's a little bit less important for you to have a strong start, though, because you're playing Gyrocopter. You are a very great late-game hero, you scale well, you farm well, there were stacks being made for you. When you play the DK hero, again, you just have to have a better start to the game than you do on a Gyrocopter, and again, if Radiant win game 2, then that means it's 0-2 for Dragon Knight on the Knights. Dragon Knight hitters will be eating very well tonight if that happens. Ooh, that's a lot of towers. I think it's 4 tower shots tanked by Vico. A lot of tanked tower shots. Roll in again. Lefty. Seems not to care about that, though. It's like, you know what? You can do whatever you want to me. You can't kill me. I can't kill you. We're just going to exist in perpetuity until something eventually happens. Perhaps that meant a 6 rune spawns. Top lane. Good cast by Big Dave. He did not go for the Malefist. Maledict. Maledict. Didn't see the need to. For whatever reason, I'm definitely feeling a little bit lower energy game 2 than game 1. I no longer have any more tea. I finished my tea. I am only drinking water now. Perhaps I'll have to brew some more tea if there is a game 3. As it currently stands, I'm feeling pretty good about a game 3. Vico secures the rune, gets a little lucky 1 and 2 on that one. The top lane. Wife brings down Aurora, but it will be a counter kill, I do believe. Concoction is channeled. It's thrown, and the last hit goes to Ultra Gunner. Vico wants Venge, but he missed the ulti. He missed the ulti. Magnetize was off of the mark. Now it's going to be much harder to kill to get on Ultra Gunner. Surely he still dies. We'll try to deny the neutrals, and it will not matter. Kick comes in from the Earth Spirits. It is a 2-for-1 in favor of Mellow Fellows, I'm sure. It did cost you rotation from the Earth Spirit, but I believe it's a rotation well made. Oh, wait a minute. So we see Ancient Apparition walking up slowly towards the dire side Wisdom rune, but it seems like he's opting against it. Like, you know what, guys? I'm literally a cone of ice. I'm not very strong. You can just get it yourselves. Not playing. You see Wife being gone on. He steps aside away from the brambles, but there's just too many angry heroes. Lefty committed the role to 4v1, and in that 4v1, generally speaking, the 1 will lose. The 1 is turned into 0, the loneliest number indeed. Number 1 net worth, if you guessed Alchemist, you would guess correctly, which makes sense. He is indeed Mr. Fake Gold Hero. But of course, you know, Fake Gold still buys real items. Naturally, he will go for the Radiance, as one tends to do on the Alch nowadays. Phase, Soul Ring, Radiance, the sort of standard build, and it's about a relic away from that Radiance if you're keeping track. Bot lane, look how far forward Mokio is. He is just so deep. Meanwhile, top lane, we're going against Kuro. Kuro gets speared back by Wife. So Bramble Maze, Cello sidestep, Baboon is low. Meanwhile, bot lane, it's Mokio who goes down. Much more important kill. Doom was committed by enough. And secured the kill there. That was a nice little kill to get, of course. You saw Mokio, he's so far forward. They were lurking on the south side, and he just walked up, cast his spells, and despite being a DK, he simply dies. And the DK remains our number 6 net worth core right now. It's... Of course, he'll look to recover at some point soon. He's not all that far from the armlets, but... I don't know. Now, I'm very pessimistic because last game, Ultra Gunner was very farmed in the DK, and he still didn't actually do much of anything. In this game, it's a lot less farmed for DK. Bot lane once again going in for Mokio. He's half HP. Death Ward. Oh no, Dave. We'll discuss that one later. Roll comes in from Lefty. It stuns too. It's fantastic from the Pango leader. Vico is being dove. Both the 6 strings already dead. Vico will fair fire up, but he's still brought down easily. Now Mokio will barely get away, though enough still hunting. Lefty will attempt perhaps go for the kill, but it shouldn't be secure. So, Mr. David, Large David. That was not the Death Ward I think you were hoping for. Did not go the way he wanted on that one. I think he accidentally double cast it, perhaps, you know, just move command right afterwards or something. Either way, didn't go as plans. The Death Ward did, I believe, 0 damage exactly. I could be wrong about that one, but... What can you do sometimes in Dota? Rune spawns, 10-minute rune is a shield rune top. Kurdos sidesteps the Earth Spirit, which makes sense. Earth Spirit on Earth Spirit action. So I guess Earth Spirit player versus Earth Spirit hero in this case. Yeah, seems like they're just not going to kill the Alk. They're just not. A relic has been purchased for Ultra Gunner. We are now probably at the point of no return for the Alk. He's probably going to accelerate from this point forward. Doom came in bot lane against Cello. Cello will end up going down. Beak wants to counter kill. He's magnetizing. He's kicking and he's magnetizing. He's trying to kill the Doom, but the Doom is barely alive still. And now they're looking towards the Earth Spirits. Lefty has a rotated over. Refusal blade in hand, roll ready to go. He's waiting patiently. And he misses. Top T1 tower is not that long for life, perhaps, though. Look at the TP in by Lefty. He'll roll. Wife has been stunned. He'll get chain stuns. That spray is on the floor. He'll spear away the Alk, but it's still a kill. Meanwhile, bot lane we're fighting here as well. Big Dave for targets. Fair Eyes hits the Earth Spirit, but does not hit the Hoodwink. Roll in will split the wickets. Now Death Ward will fly. Viko's taking a ton of damage. He should eventually end up dying here. He rolls again from long range, hitting the Witch Doctor. Meanwhile, Shallow Supreme thinks that he's killed the Willow. He's looking for Witch Doctor. He's got Acorn Shot and 5. He'll perhaps look for the dive, and yep, he's tanking that tower. Dave will turn with the cask. Perhaps both will die. Double kill for Cello. Cello, though, will end up smoking. I don't think it's going to end up mattering. Ice Blast. Yeah, there we go. Ice Blast, I think he's looking for enough. Ended up not hitting. Regardless, we see XDs in the chat from both the Witch Doctor and the Hoodwink. A 2-for-2 trade of bottom lane. Everyone fought, everyone died. Except for Pangolier, who just walked away. Walked away from the fight. So it's a 6,000 lead at 12k. Wait. 6,000 net worth lead at minute 12, I should say. Obviously, it is a bit of fake goal from the Alchemist, but it's still a pretty good lead. Even though it's not like actually a 6k lead, it's still a pretty good lead nonetheless. How do Radiant still win this game is my question. Obviously, the game's not over yet. But it seems like their play is going to be just get the items to team fights. Blink Dagger on Mars, the primary one. Vessel Honor Spirit is done as well. Perhaps we'll go with the DK BKB, or maybe I don't even know what he's going to need to fight. We see a Doom against Vico. Vico has been stunned. He's been chain stunned at that. The Doombringer Stolen Golem Pearl Boulder into the roll. The Doom has ended. Cello ends up being brought down. Viko ends up rolling away. They split their attention, and as a result, a much more important kill. The Earth Spirit got away. That's a greedy play from Funny Zone. Trying to get the +1, but you know, they say 1 in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. In this case, more like 1 in the hand for 1 in the bush, but I digress. Top lane, Ultra Runner has been ice blasted. He's on the run. He's trying to... Oh, no. You saw there, they attempted to run down the Alk, but Alk had too much move speed. DK was not in range of his stun. And as a result, he's not in range of a kill. Meanwhile, bottom lane, that T1 tower is brought down by the Doombringer and the Dark Willow. So across the map, we are only seeing 1 dead tower. So Radiant may go for this top lane tier 1 in the near future. Mid lane, there's something going on. I don't think anyone ends up dying, though. Mokio is indeed playing Dragon Knights. I don't want to just keep staring at Ultra Gunner in his fat stacks of cash, but it appears to be the name of the game is just stare at Ultra Gunner in his fat stacks of cash. He's already an Alchemist. Blink and Radiance timing. He's working on the BKB. He's about 1/3 of the way to the BKB. It's going to turn violence very quickly. Cello scouts things around, runs into Kurdo. Kurdo zones him away. Seems like the name of the game will be that mid T1 tower, though. We're seeing a further forward movement by Lefty and enough. Ice Blast hits 2. Arena comes in, Spear hits the Doombringer. Roll comes in from left and all of that. Mokio is already so low, though. They'll kill the Doom, but this might not work out. Bullish on Simple the Earth Spirit and the Mars. Death Ward flies. Earth Spirit is dropping. Spear away brings the Alchemist away from the middle of the melee, but it's still a 2-for-1 trade. So it's 2 kills for 1. And the team that got the 2 kills will also get that mid T1 tower. Cello attempts to kill the Witch Doctor, but the Sharpshooter was a little bit off the mark. I don't think the angle actually existed for the kill. Pushback misses as well. Lefty almost goes down a little bit, but he's fine. So, usually in Dota, when game 1 is a wash in one direction, and game 2 is a wash in the other direction, usually game 3 is pretty interesting. And it seems like game 2 is a wash. I mean, it's only a 75% chance to win, but 75% at minute 16 is pretty fantastic. Hypothetically, if you press your buttons perfectly on Mellow Fellows, there's a game 2 win brewing, and they can get the 2-0 victory. No game 3 needed, but again, we're going to need some big plays really quickly. Smoke up on 3. Vico, Wife, and Kavopa 6-string combine. Oh, but they're going to run into the Dark Willow. It's a kill. But it's not the kill you need. You need a much bigger kill than that. And meanwhile, you actually get solo kill on Cello, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. It's not even like a free kill. It's a trade of kills. Oi, oi, oi. More gold for Ultra Gunner. Perhaps we'll see some action bottom through the Twin Gate. Wife has Blink and Arena ready. Looking at Radiant Vision, though, they're not seeing all that much. With the dire scan, they know everything. Wife will walk forward right into Lefty. Lefty is speared back for now, but the roll's still ready. He'll get a Solar Crest buff from his buddy, and now he'll simply be fine. And we're just seeing some regularly scheduled agriculture. Something I talked about a lot during game number 1. Ice Blast hits Kurdo. Roll comes in from Lefty. AA certainly will die, but will there be more stragglers dying as well? Ultra Gunner self-stuns. Lefty is still rolling. First Spirit roll misses. Arena's there on 1. Spear is sidestepped, however. Now in bounces the cast. Lefty will end up going down. Death Ward looks for a counter kill, but it's canceled by the roll in by Vico. And now it'll be a Bedlam. Ultra Gunner brings some concoctions. The Earth Spirit Doom hits the Mars. Mars is on the run from enough. Enough seems to lack the move speed to finish this kill. However, meanwhile on the south side, we see Ultra running for Cello. Cello also runs away though. Back to enough. He actually sees Infernal Blade on Mars. Mars, I think she could have actually used the wand there. Maybe I would have kept him alive at the very end. After the Doom had ended before the Infernal Blade tick had killed him. Regardless, one more kill for enough. Another kill for the Funny Zone. They're extending their lead up to 11,000 gold, 12,000 gold. They're up 18 kills to 9. And, you know, Dragon Knight's looking like a 0-2 hero tonight. He really is. So my prediction for game 3 is whoever picks Dragon Knight game 3 is going to lose. That's my simple, easy prediction. If you pick DK game 3, you're going to lose. I'm all out. Whoever picks the stupid hero game 3. Mid lane, Vico rolls in. Enough runs forward. Blade Mail is used by Vico. Cast bounce Maledict. Ooh, it's hitting for good damage. The cast cancels the roll from Vico. Enough will beat KP. Looking to run down the Earth Spirit. He'll have to try to roll, but again, it's canceled by Enough. He will magnetize, but it's too little, too late. Ice Blast actually ends up hitting 2. Acorn Shot will not bounce around to the intended target. However, now Shell is being rolled on by Lefty Dote. He's rolling, and he's rolling away. He's caught in the arena by Life. Sharpshooter's on the way. That will be a dead Pangolier. So there's a counter kill. Both mid laners are in the same place right now. They're 6 feet under. Meanwhile, AA is calling to join them. He's in the pits. And now he's no longer in the pits. Speaking of the pit, perhaps Dire could go for Roshan still. Roshan has just arrived to the bottom lane. He's here. If you're a fan of Roshan. But if you're not, then, I guess if you're either a fan of Roshan or you're not a fan of Roshan, no matter what, you get what you want. If you're a fan of Roshan, you see him on your screen, but if you're not, you see him die. And it is that, Sisyphean, Promethean style torture. You just die, and you die, and you die, and you just keep dying. You just... you are not allowed to pass on. You simply die. I don't know what he did to deserve this, but he just keeps dying. Maybe he stole the Aegis, and in stealing the Aegis, he is now doomed to repeated death. I don't really know the lore. I'm not really a lore master in that regard. Here's a graph. You have stabilized. It's been about 75% chance to win for the dire side of Funny Zone for about 7 minutes now. Of course, looking at Ultra, he's going for an Assault Cuirass. Perhaps that's the item we need to really run it down as 5. Grab Roshan, win the game. Yeah, obviously the AC works quite well with his kit. Gives him armor, gives him more damage and concoction. It just works. And now we head over to the Tormentor. It's 3, it's Ultra and his supports. Sounds like a medieval band of minstrels if you ask me, but it's a dead Tormentor, and it's a free Aghanim Shard for Big Dave for the Voodoo Switcheroo. Of course, the Radiant Tormentor is still alive. For the time being, though that might change relatively soon. We shall see. Arcane Rune gets snagged by Wife. Enough thought he would grab it.
I won't lie, that was unexpected.
Wow, okay. I missed that entirely watching the snafu mid lane in the river area, but it was a solo kill, it appears, from both the 6th ring to bring down Dark Willow. End up taking down in the fountain, it appears. Yeah, end up dying over here, so obviously in the fountain. Apparently AA does a lot of damage in that 1v1 fight. I'm looking at the death summary again. It's actually mostly neutrals that kill him, so perhaps he caught him on the neutral camp. And then in doing so, it's brought him down there. Over to bot lane. Speaking of down, it's time for a bit of downtown action. Blink in by Ultra Gunner. Vico will try to roll. It's blocked by the Ultra Gunner Alchemist. And now he's out of mana. He'll soon be out of HP. Mokio and left side for a counter kill onto the Alchemist. Alchemist actually only has 1 left to play with. He'll take the Ice Blast, and perhaps he'll end up dying here. They will pursue. Sharpshooter hits from long range. Now bring down the Alchemist. Now at this point, it's a 1-for-1 trade. The Doom will end on Mars quite soon. DK runs forward. Both cores are on the run. Is there a cancel on the TPs? Not 1 for left, but they will cancel the life of the Doombringer. Now a 2-for-1 trade. And a major win for Mellow fellas. They most importantly kill the Alchemist. They had a Doom on top. Sure, they lose 1 core, that being the V-Kill Earth Spirit. That's well worth it. If we're talking about, fights that start to turn this game around, that's one way to do it. You grab Roshan because the Tire are dead, perhaps. One problem, though, you're not actually killing Roshan. Instead, AA is going perhaps for a solo kill on Kurdo again. Is that really worth it? Perhaps not. Dark Willow has been spotted. Spear is well off the mark. Terrorize brings away the Mars, but it should still be a very dead Dark Willow, barring a miracle. Ice Blast actually misses. So 2 key unforced errors come in from the Mars and AA. Both missed key abilities, so Kurdo's life is spared. Good sidestepping by the Dark Willow, and now it's a roll in by Vico, but he's stunned by Ultra Gunner. Curse Crown and the Realm Mace have been used. Vico has been stunned. He's in a rough spot right now. His roll once gets into the cast is stunned, and now he got brought down. It's 1 kill again for Ultra Gunner. Cello, meanwhile, dies to Lefty and enough in the Dire jungle. That's 2 more kills. And again, it's a good showing by Mellow fellas. They're not just going to sit back and lose the game. They're very willing to actually take some fights and take some engagements, and they have been going somewhat well, but again, somewhat well might not be enough. Our good friend Roshan has relocated
Is under attack.
through the Twin Gates to the top lane. And I think everyone knows what's coming. Both teams are aware. Dire, of course, are in the Roshan, but with the Radiant Scan and Ice Blast, they have a good idea. Thanks to the AA Shard, it'll stun temporarily. Roshan's actually still 2/3 HP. It's not dying that quickly. Look at Mars. He's our man to look at. He's slotted out his wand. He's getting ready. Roll. Getting pump faked by left. He gets these back Roshan. Now a spear. It's barely missed. Now the arena's on absolutely nothing. Concoction hits Vico. He's getting hunted on down. Chain's done and brought down. BKB comes in from the DK, but he's doomed as well. He'll eventually die. Meanwhile, Roll is still hitting the Mars. This is an absolute disaster class fight for Mellow, fellas. Wife will TP. It will. He canceled it manually. Oh no! I think he was fine there. And now BKB, but what is going on? And somehow the DK lived. I have no idea how he did. But he ended up living anyways. I don't quite know what I'm watching anymore. I guess we're back to watching Roshan get gone on. But another Ice Blast. So we're not quite done yet. Shallow will go for a hero play. I don't quite think he'll find it, but he'll go for it anyways, of course, because why not? Acorn shot will bounce. Roshan ends up dying to Ultra Gunner. Aegis goes to the Alchemist as well.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And now with that key objective grabbed, I believe we know what time it is. It's grab some towers. And you have your pick of the litter for Funny Zone. There's a tier 1 top there, all the tier 2s. There's still a Radiant side Tormentor. Personally, I would run it down the top lane. T1, parlay that one. T2, parlay that one. Tormentor. For now, though, they're playing the much more standard option. They're splitting the map. They're minding their lanes. They're looking for a much more methodical encirclement in that regard. And all eyes are on Mokio, who can BKB and TP if he's quick enough. And he's been stunned once. There's the chain stun. He's not going to live this time around. Goodbye, Dragon Knights. Meanwhile, there was a bit of a 1v1 going on between Doom and AA. AA tries to AA blast, kill the Doombringer. It did not miss. Actually, it did not hit. It did miss, I do believe. Not that I watched it, but if it hit, I think he would have died, so. We now look over at the bottom tier 2 tower. Yes, we are indeed feeling good, man. Big Dave, thank you. But we'll go on that bottom tier 2 tower. That'll be our main target for the time being. It should be a very free tower siege. If I'm wrong, sue me, I suppose, but there's not all that much the Radiant can do to defend. All I can do is delay. And with the Blink Dagger on Ancient Apparition, Kavothe's 6-string did delay it, but again, this guy right over here, he's got 13 billion gold. And never mind, Radiant Glyph, which will again further delay the siege. Though, notably, the multi-shot did not hit the creeps. The wave once again pushes on forward. We now sweep northwest through the Radiant jungle, perhaps towards that middle tier 2 tower. The wave, not that far away, we now can run it on down. Do Dire of a smoke, perhaps? They do. In the backpack of Big Dave, if they want to go for a smoke play. Or perhaps not. I don't actually know what this thing does, by the way, Grease. So is it just like completely top lane, there's stuff happening. Terrorize hits Shallow. Shallow certainly will end up dying unless he can somehow juke this one out. He'll try to get away, but again, he's taking an Atos from the Dark Will to dead. Also, his action bottom. I still want to read what this does. So looking at Vico. Vico is in a lot of danger. He's got his BKB, but won't live long enough to get it off in time. Back to Grease. So you just, the more you die, the more you just keep accumulating gold in that? Is that how that works? Life's being gone on by 3. He's out of mana on Mars. He can perhaps try to Soul Ring BKB TP, but again, it's just not a chance out in this case. He'll accept his death, he'll move on. It's now 3 kills in rapid succession for the side of the Funny Zone. And again, they're just playing beautiful, though. This is what you started to see from them in game number 1, but they fumbled the execution game 1. They got absolutely outplayed by Mellow. This is the Funny Zone that we expected going into the series. This is the Funny Zone that dominated the Group B table. And if you're Mellow Fellas, again, you get ready for game 3. You don't pick DK. Perhaps you win game 3. That'll be the fun game 3, though. Still more time to go for buildings. There's no longer a tier 2 bottom or middle. Therefore, top lane is the place to be. The tier 1 is brought down. It's now 3 towers brought down during the Aegis. Again, it seems like they're pinging the Tormentor first, though. This could be risky. Radiant are aware of this one. Ice Blast will end up hitting all 3, but it's still a Tormentor going the way of enough. So, it's a free shard for the Doombringer. That's a heal on Scorched Earth, which, well, has less value than usual thanks to Ice Blast. Blink Atos from Kurdo finds Vico. Vico is fine. The tower, though, is not fine. It is dead. Has 4 towers and a Tormentor taken. Cello tanks the cast. Mokyo, BKB, Big Dave jukes things out with Glimmer Cape for the time being. He'll try to TP out as enough inside the arena. Somehow, someway, Aurora lives. That's a miraculous escape by the Witch Doctor, but you still kill the Doombringer at the very least. Ice Blast heads for the fountain. Or not. It goes nowhere. At the very least, for Mellow Fellows, they get a counter tower. They get that middle lane tier 2, and they're pinging the top lane tier 2. They want to, at the very least, start to make this tower situation better. They're currently down by 3 towers. If this one dying, will turn into 2 towers at the very least. That'll make a top Roshan a lot more contestable. One problem is there's still this, our good friend, the Dire Side outpost. So if the time comes, there will be that as an option to arrive at the top side of Roshan. And they're not even going to finish the tower. They're TPing away. It will live. Happy day for the tower. And now we're hunting. Vico. Oh, he's been missile-bladed by Ultra Gunner. And now he's in a lot of danger on the Earth Spirit. Oh, no. And goodbye, Vico. Over to Wife. He's tanking the Bedlam. And he's dead as well. Oh, no. Again, we're going to game 3. This game, it just feels over right now. I genuinely do not know what Mellow will do to win this game. I just don't see it. But that means, I've been getting ready for game 3 for the last, like, 20 minutes. Again, I want to note out that the bands between game 1 and game 2 were pretty different. And I'm curious to see if we see a reversion to the Game 1 bans, or even a progression further on the bans for Game 3. With these teams, there's some very interesting ban phase situations. A lot of heroes you want to ban out, both meta-wise and player-wise. Are we forcing high grounds? No, we are not. We wanted to get a little bit of damage before the Earth Spirit and the Mars respawn, and wisely speaking, they do not want to get caught in the circle ability as the other circle ability comes in, so they're going to back off. They're going to back off, they're going to wait on up, perhaps on the Dire side for that second Roshan. Speaking of Roshan, we are entering the respawn window. How late is it? Pretty late Roshan respawn. Exactly a 75th percentile Roshan respawn time. 2 minutes 15 seconds exactly, I believe. Unless I can't read. But knowing the time is right, to at the very least try to force a fight. Malthals is smoked up as 4. Of course, the objective that is a core is to go for a kill to perhaps secure Roshan. But to do that, the execution must be on. They have to go and find some kind of kill. Looking at their vision, it's a very tough decision. I mean, they see nobody. They're going to invade the dire side jungle, but again, there is no rumbling going on over there. It's simply a bit of a crumble. They'll continue towards the tier 2, that's what they're going to do, but to what extent will it do anything? What matters, of course, is Roshan. It will be top side, though, notably, and the Radiant are already at the top side of the map. So, Funny Zone will need to find a way to get there. Appears to be the play of TP to the tier 3 and smoke up as 4. And there it is, smoke up as 4. Radiant did not see it. They're wrapping. Perhaps on both south and north side. Baboon towards Cello. Lefty towards the remainder. Mokio's in the vanguard right now, towards that tower. Tower dies to the siege. It's enough. Looks for the angle to go on in there, blink and doom somebody. Looking at dire vision, they see limited stuff right now. Left has the right idea, but they're on blink in. Now Baboon, Curse Crowns, and Shadow Realms in time. The arena will be off the mark. At this point, it could be an absolute disaster. Mokio is fighting. He'll bring down Kurdo, but there will be no more Mars in exchange. Willow buys back. DK falls. Vico's rolling out forward. Ultra slapping him down, though. That's a 4 for 1 trade. Cello TP's away, luckily for him, but again, good execution in the fight by Funny Zone, and really in that fight, it's easy to fight when you're that far ahead. I like the idea from Mellow, so at the very least play the active Dota to try to do something of value, but again, it's easier said than done to win that fight, and they simply did not win the fight. It's hard at the arena. I mean, obviously the arena didn't really do anything, but what can you do if your wife? BKB on Alchemist, roll on Pangolier, BKB on Pangolier, BKB on Doombringer. Even the Willow is not that easy to go on thanks to the the Shadow Realm and the Yule Scepter, so even the Voodoo Switcheroo on Big Dave. We're going to game 3, man. We really are. This will be 2 sets of racks, I believe. Both D3 top and mid go down. We see a Voodoo Switcheroo from Dave. Meanwhile, I'm seeing a 1v1 between Cello and J. Kurdo, and well, enough will break the 1v1, turn it into a 2v1, which then turns into a 2v0. The Shiva's Guard active got the last hits. Top racks. The Mellows are dead, but the mid racks are still alive. We're pinging at Mellow racks here, and here we go. There's no Hoodwink, though we can buy back if needed. That's now partial racks in both lanes, Equilibrium mid and top for Funny Zone. They'll complete the set mid, though they will not complete the set top. They're perhaps content to go for that second Roshan. And that will be the name of the game, our good friend Roshan, who will die for the 5th time this series. Died 3 times in game 1. I believe Mellowfellow's got 2 of the Roshans that game. Maybe not all 3, actually, but they definitely got the last 2. And then, now in this game number 2, it'll be Funny Zone to grab both of the Roshans, assuming there will only be 2 Roshans this game, which is likely the case. Roshan roars. Ice Blast will scout things out and will delay things by about 2 seconds. 1, 2. But there's an inevitability to what is coming. Roshan dies. Aegis goes to Ultra Gunner. The banner is somewhere. It's in the inventory of the Dark Willow. And we're now relocating to the bottom lane. Doom again leading the way. Mokio looks for a bit of a wave cut idea, perhaps. Or perhaps not. To go for the creeps instead. Wife, Vico, Cello leave their base a little bit. They're trying to get a little more space before the inevitable siege, but like a boa constrictor, they're tightening their grip. Funny Zone, they're just tightening their grip. They're shrinking the map. They're making the pressure accumulate. It's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And eventually you run out of oxygen. You asphyxiate and you die. And perhaps the time is now. Ultra Gunner. Never mind, he will not finish the job. He will get self-stuns and get laughed at by his Dark Willow. More maniacal laughter from Kurdo. Smoke has ended on both sides. I think both teams were smoked. They have ended on both sides. Okay, Mokio's getting whatever farm he can before the inevitable high ground defense. There is a full set and a tower bottom and a very naked range racks top before Megas. Kurdo gets gone on. Ice Blast. I'll actually end up missing, but it won't matter. Good kill there for Mellow. That's at least going to delay the siege by a little bit longer. I got to see a dieback on Dark Widow. So notice the timing. He's dead for 90 more seconds, and the Aegis timer has only 3 minutes. So when the Willow respawns, it'll be a minute and a half left. That's 2/3 of the duration wasted already. Perhaps you don't need that final 2/3 duration, but again, it's a very slow pace right now from Funny Zone. One might say a little bit too slow. I was talking boa constrictors. Actually, I've been talking about sloths. You know, very very slow sloth-like pace right now. They're not willing to ram it on down and complete the victory. Here's a graph. Luckily, only an 85% chance to win. Again, much like Game 1, I disagreed with the graph Game 1. I thought Mellowfellows were way further ahead than Dota thought they were. And I think it's a reverse game, too. I think it's, again, Funny Zone way further ahead than the graph things. So yeah, I disagree with the graph both games. Is there a gem? There's not a gem, okay. Here we go again. We are waiting for the respawn of Kurdo. He can... Never mind, he cannot TP here. Okay, so we're seeing a ping. Perhaps someone to grab the outpost. Outpost. Grab it. Oh, there it is. So they'll grab it. And... Oh, no. So Courier died. That's the Aghanim Scepter for Kurdo. I think we have a lot of gold in the Courier. But... it's fine. They don't need it. Ultra buys a gem, drops it in the fountain for the Dark Widow, I believe. Or maybe not. It's on the Courier. He'll perhaps hand it to Big Dave. Maybe. Maybe. There it is. A little bit of Courier issues there from the Canadian carry, but eventually he dragged it from his Courier to his Connecticut-based teammates. I suppose that is not the most descriptive thing in the world, given there are multiple Connecticut-based teammates in the dire side, but to the Witch Doctor is more specific. Itos forward, but instead Ultra will self-stun. What time is he left on the Aegis? He's got 37 seconds. That is not much time. It's go. Go, 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 go. Hit the tower. There we go. He's doing it. He is not waiting any longer. Problem is, there's actually no creeps right now. The wave mid's not in yet. The wave top's not in yet. Therefore, the Aegis timer has been absolutely wasted. Again, good job by Mellowfellows. They escaped the Aegis absolutely unharmed. Mokio has been outside the base for I don't even know how long. He has not been caught. Good play from the Dragon Knights. Dire scan. They know he's somewhere over here, but they don't know where. He could have went this way. Could have went this way. Could have went this way. They don't know where he went, unfortunately. I mean, we know where he went. He's over here now, but it's merely a scan they had on the Funny Zone side. Alright, perhaps we're smoking up. We are indeed smoking up, but I think the ward caught it. I think it barely caught that smoke. If they are paying attention, they may know. Meanwhile, top lane, Widow blinks in, looking for the Dragon Knights. But he is indeed playing Dragon Knight. He'll turn with a stun to 4-shot the Dark Widow. And now, the interesting fight angle, they'll go for the AAA, will end up going down. Waifu Arena, hitting it on to, but it's a BKB from Big Dave. BKB from alternate roll from the lefty. AA buys back. Rico's taking way too much damage, though. He's now dead. It's currently a 4v4, with the wife Mars dying to, I believe, the Maledict. That's now turned into a 4v3. Mars has no buyback, though the AA has already used his. Meanwhile, on the top side, we see Cello being gone on by Ultra, and well, goodbye, goodbye. You are very dead. Looking at buyback status, Cello 2 lacks the gold. So it's both Mars and Hoodwink who lack the gold. Now it's a dieback mid lane by. Oh no. Well, good attempt by Mellow fellows. They dragged this one on for a very long time, but the inevitable will now arrive. You were not defending your base 2 before. I don't care. It's just going to be hit racks. Hit throne. Actually, wait a minute. They don't know that these two heroes don't have buyback. So they're actually going for Megas instead. And if they go for Megas, they won't hit the throne, therefore the game won't end yet. So we actually might be waiting for the third row shot. Oh no. So yeah, we will naturally see the respawn of the deceased Radiant heroes, largely speaking. Throne will not get gone on, or maybe it will get gone on. No, it will not get gone on. Therefore, we TP back, we mine the lanes. It's methodical, it's probably correct to do, but it is what it is. The Funny Zone really don't want to lose. They can wait for that third Roshan. We don't even know when that's going to spawn quite yet, but we're about to know. The answer is an incredibly long respawn. A little over 2.5 minutes. It is in that, deep into that sort of, like, that fourth quintile. I mean, this could be the sixth sextile for using that terminology. You see enough go towards Mokio. The Doom has been used. In come both teams enough refreshes. Getting ready for one more BKB. DK, though, is going to barely tick down. And he's got no buyback. That's an absolute disaster. And now we head over to Vico. Vico will be KB. The casket's down. The arena's fantastic on 3, but no tank is away from Ultra Gunner. He's dead. No buyback. Earth Spirit dies. Still head to hood, making it dirty. GG in chat. Mid-fight. They know what's happened. They know it's over. And we are headed to an all-deciding game number 3. Oh, and by Funny Zone, they certainly shook off the disaster that was Game 1, where they got thoroughly gobsmacked by Mellow fellows, but as much as they lost Game 1, they probably won Game 2 harder than they lost Game 1, so in that regard, you know, they're just showing good form. Now, again, we don't know what's going to happen here. We have a coin flip for Game 3. We don't know who's going to win this coin flip. The team that had first pick won both games. Mellow won the coin flip Game 1. They chose first pick. Funny Zone chose Radiance. Now, again, this is going to be an opportunity for either team to win this coin flip. I'm going to cut us to a break, though, between Game 2 and Game 3. My name's Badger. We'll see for the all-deciding Game 3 between Funny Zone and Mellow in a few minutes.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick.
Invoker.
Radiant team ban.
Bristleback.
Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Greetings and salutations, Dota fans, for the third and final game
Dire team ban.
of Mellow Fellows versus the Funny Zone. Time for the longer break, I had to grab some provisions. Need a little extra bit of liquid, grab a little bit of food even. I'm actually quite hungry from all the exciting Dota we've had tonight. I did mention in the downtime of game 2, I could expect the ban phase to change again. It's changed again.
Radiant
So bans: Sniper, Shadow Demon, Luna, Alchemist, Mars, SF, Timber, Dawnbreaker, Pango, Dusa. In different set of bans, but Mellow who have seen a spat of phase 2 Invoker bans,
seconds remaining.
say, you know what? If we want Invoker, we're just gonna have to first phase Invoker. That's what they do.
Radiant team pick.
In response, though, again, another hero who's been getting banned out a lot tonight. It is the Bristleback. 13 pick is Sand King. 14 once again to see the return of Ancient
10
Apparition.
seconds remaining.
So 4 AA games. 4?
5 seconds.
3 AA games in a row for Cabot 6 string. I'm struggling to count. As it currently stands, we're here for the all-important game 3. Naturally, the most contentious and important thing of the night, the game 3 of Malthel's Funny Zone. Looking around, though, across the league, if we're doing our across the league cam, so as mentioned earlier, the underdogs beat Blucher. I hardly knew her. Speaking of Blucher, Bad Faith Blucher 2-0 Wilted Roses. So Wilted Roses will head to the losers brackets. I don't care. Sign me up. They slapped down Nebula in a 2-0 win. So KU and company will keep their dreams of a 4th championship ring alive. Speaking of the KU team, there has been a trend. It's every 3 seasons, KU's team has won. They won season 3, they won season 10, they won season 13. It is season 16, so perhaps we have another losers bracket run in us. Obviously, PMA's team recently they lost round 1 of playoffs. They won the playoffs. Hobbs' team straight up started losers in one playoff, so crazier things have happened. Back to our drafting question. Centaur picked 15. Willow Sven grabbed 16, 17. Again, they're once again going the direction of the Kurto Willow. It worked pretty well game number 2.
5 seconds.
And they're pairing it with an absolute certified amateur league classic, the Ultra Gunner Sven. If you don't know about the Ultra Gunner Sven, you don't watch. It's not even just lads. This dude is an amateur league legend. He's played in basically every amateur league to ever exist. And what is the one hero he's been playing every patch, every year, every decade even? Big man, big sword. He turns red sometimes. He's called Sven the Rogue Knight. Funny zone. They're gonna put their hopes and dreams on the back of the Ultra Gunner Sven. Good idea. We'll see.
10 seconds remaining.
Regardless, Phoenix is the response to the 18 pick. Is it a good pick? It's decent enough. I wouldn't say it's an exceptional pick, but it's not an awful pick either. Certainly can have some value with the Sun Ray heal this game, of course. Spirits can be useful as well. The Dire have some means of killing the egg eventually, and they're not great egg hitters.
10 seconds remaining.
Perhaps again, it's going to be the sort of team fights concept
5 seconds remaining.
that we look for. You get the Supernova and you protect it with the Ice Blast, with the Aghanim Shard, with the Centaur Stun, with the Invoker, everything. You unleash the arsenal. Maybe that's the idea. You win like that. You win on those terms. Meanwhile, as it currently stands, Funny Zone, they're in the position to win the eco. They're in the position to win the economy. And that's kind of the tale of the tape all nights. Is Mellow Fellows, they won the eco game, game 1. They were playing into the DK. They easily outfarmed the DK, and they won the game. And then game 2, again, the reverse happened. We saw Funny Zone playing the Alk into DK. They outfarmed the DK. They won the game. As it currently stands, I like the Dire side at farming better. They have pretty good subs for farming. They have Sven, notoriously good farmer. SK is a pretty great farmer. I don't know what the 24... Oh, no, it's Melthos who's 23 pick, too. This 23 pick has to really put their macro game together. I don't know what possible hero they pick, but it better be good. Even then, though, there will be counterpick.
5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
And that's a Magnus. Magnus has been banned. I think it's been banned. I think it's banned out all 3 games tonight, actually. R.I.P. Mag.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, whatever. I had a little thing I was going to put in the screen again, this whole thing here, but I forgot to put it on, so yeah. I'll take it on. I'll take it off. There it is. A little too late at this stage, but yeah, we are out of reserve time. 10 seconds left for Vico. What's your buzzer beater? 23 pick selection. 3, 2.
Dire team pick.
Okay, I actually like it. This is not the pick I expected, the Slark, but hypothetically, you can be a real pesky little fish today.
10 seconds remaining.
The anti-Slark lockdown is relatively weak,
5 seconds remaining.
and I'm not sure what you would 24 pick to deal with that. But Lefty, of course, has about 2 minutes of time to figure that one out, so maybe we just think it out. We come up with something. And again, the draft is flexible. The SK can play 2 roles, the Bristle can play 2 roles. So you can grab a mid and offlaner or a sup here. And I grab a mid.
Now select your heroes.
So we left down the Void Spirit, playing into this Invoker lane. Interesting. I think I have to prefer the Dire draft, though. I think it's a pretty fantastic Slark game. I like the game for Slark. But I think the overall draft for Funny Zone is simply better. I think the way tonight's games have been is who wins the economy wins the game. Mellow had the heroes to win at game 1. Funny Zone the heroes to win at game 2. I think these Dire heroes are simply better at farming. Therefore, I will predict that they win game 3. Though, of course, Mellow they will not go down easy. They're not just going to give up because he's like, oh no, Badger thinks our draft is slightly to moderately worse. Why even bother playing? The Oracle himself, expert prognosticator Badger, thinks our draft is slightly worse. Now they're going to play. They have obviously ways to win this game still. They have arguably a stronger team fight. This Void Spirit hero does not solve Phoenix at all. So Supernova should be a fantastic ability in this team fight. Vico, of course. Great Invoker player. Could simply outplay the ops. See how that goes. We shall see. If you are just joining us, sit back down. Okay, maybe you can grab some water, some popcorn if you want, but you are in the right place at the right time. It is the winner take all. Game number 3 in a season 16 League of Lads playoff winners bracket series between the Funny Zone on the Dire side and Mellow on the Radiant side. Mellow, they won the coin flip game 1. They chose first pick. They won the game. Funny Zone, then they had the choice. They chose first pick. They won game 2. Mellow had first pick game 3, but will that first pick draft situation result in a win? They got the Invoker. Will that do it? We shall see. My name is Badger. I'm still here for the third and final of these games.
Seconds to battle.
Once again, it's a lot of action towards sort of Radiant jungle here. We saw it game 1, we saw it game 2. We're going to see it again in game 3. A lot of action over here. Perhaps running on down, running on over. I don't know. We see big man, big sword, big retreat from the action. His 4 teammates remain here, and they zone away wife. So perhaps we'll see 4. Never mind. It'll still be 2 for 2. Wife's gonna grab this. I'm pretty sure he's faster than Big Dave, right? Yeah, he is. Okay. So 2 wins of both teams. Nothing too wild and crazy. So we have. Ooh, wait a minute. Hold your horses. Look at what's happening bottom lane. Look who's here. It's Cello Mellow. They're looking for a kill with Pounce. They'll go for Kurdo. The Pounce, the Fire Spirits, the Cold Feet is there. And First Blood, it's gonna go to Mokio. One problem. He wasn't level 2 yet. He didn't get the permanent agility from Essence Shift, but I think it's retroactive, right? I don't think it is. Regardless, First Blood goes to Slark. It's pretty fantastic for him. And now Cello, of course, will TP to the top lane. Wait a minute. Big Dave's tanking a lot of damage right now. He's not going to die, but... Well... The funny part is, usually, I can't perfectly get in the mind of the players. I'm just not a massive Dota player nowadays. I don't necessarily play a huge amount of pubs. But there's one hero that I picked up this season in Lads. And if you watched my Lads games, you know what it is. It's Bristleback 5. I could definitely get in the head of Big Dave right now. You know, it's one of those things you put Bristleback, and sometimes you run in and you die. You know, so, very, very similar gameplay to a hero like a Tree Enter and Undying or something. You just, sometimes you walk in and you die. You can have a winning game on Bristleback where you die like 25 times if you play Bristleback 5. You really can. The only problem is in this lane, it's not that easy to simply play Dota. Bot lane, Pounce comes in from Mokio. Sand King's in a lot of danger right now. He's like forced to burrow to the north side.
Radiant's bottom tower.
No kill, but still a winning trade for the AA and the Slark. And Shell's gonna dive forward. This Phoenix hero does pretty well in lane into Bristleback, and we see it right here, right now. It's hard for it to lock this hero down, and well, eventually, if you get enough damage on him, enough chip damage, the Bristleback can die. That's now 2 kills for Mellow, fellas. It's the exact start they wanted. Kills in both side lanes. Cello Mellow is having one hell of a game on. And that's one thing I mentioned in the draft is, you know, this could be a good Phoenix game. So far, it has been. He's 1-0-1. But when I said that, I more referred to Supernova, not the laning impact. Cello has played a lot of Phoenix in lads. I think he's only silver tier technically, but you know, he's played it enough in lads that the silver tier lies to you a little bit. Top lane we're fighting. Let's not forward. Sven is half HP, Centaur's half HP, Aurora, Big Dave grabs the Lotus. Perhaps he'll pass it to his Sven. Meanwhile, bot lane, nothing happens. Never mind. And I haven't really looked at too much of mid so far this game. It is Void Spirit versus Invoker. Naturally, it should be expected to be a relatively even lane, perhaps slightly favored for the Void Spirit because they have to get a counter pick. But again, a lot of these mid lanes don't go too crazy. Usually a lot of the common mid matchups go, you know, either 50-50 or 55-45, maybe 60-40 at most, the old Marth Fox. But generally speaking, it's more about, you know, who gets minute 4 water runes, who subs are camping for the 6 minute runes, and so on. Much more than it is, oh, I'm simply out drafting and just getting this like 90-10 matchup. You just don't see it very often nowadays. Not that it never happens, but particularly with mid laners the caliber of Lefty and Vico, it just doesn't happen. These are both lads champion mid laners for a reason. Because they're not bums. Seeing trading in both side lanes. Who dies first? I have no idea. Dire Glyph. Afraid it's gonna kill top. I don't know top, but it could also happen bottom. I'm just gonna stare at the top bar, look at the HP bar, see how they're dropping, because there's a lot of heroes dying right now. Invoker is shockingly low as well, but I think he'll be fine with the Quas regen. It does give regen still, right? Gives lifesteal. What the hell? Is that good? Probably not, but it's better than whatever using it otherwise, so lifesteal it is. Is that flat lifesteal per orb actually? It's flat lifesteal, because it's 12 lifesteal per hit. It's not bad actually. Problem is he's still just dying right now. Simulate forward by Lefty Dote. Tornado EMP the turn. Lefty takes a good bit of damage. Vico's still lower though. Vico trying to lifesteal on up via the Quas flat lifesteal, which probably embarrassing. I didn't know it before now. Top lane dive in by Cello. Ultra is low. White is low. Sunray is flying on around. Ultra is looking to run it on down, but the slow from Big Dave will keep his carry alive. Cello's incredibly low. Aurora's incredibly low. Both might die, but instead it's only the Bristleback who dies. But a valiant sacrifice. Instead of Sven dying, the support died. It's a good play from Big Dave. They're at the hero net worth. Looking over at the CS. Again, it's pretty good across the board for the Radiant heroes. Number 1 net worth Centaur. Number 2 net worth Slark. Number 3 net worth Invoker. So one trend we've seen so far tonight is, generally speaking, Mokio has not had a great time in the laning phase. He was 6th in net worth, I believe, both game... Cello died to the neutrals. But both game 1 and game 2, Mokio was 6th in net worth coming out of the laning phase. He had a rough time on the Gyrocopter. He had an even more rough time on the Dragon Knights. But this game, he's having a great time in lane. He's number 2 in net worth. He got that first blood money, and I think the investment in Mokio's lane is paying off here, because now enough is much more poor than he's been in the R2 games. Mokio's richer. And I hear like Slark, you'd love to have that positive forward momentum. AA barely dies, but in comes Slark looking for some kind of vengeance. There's a bunch of bounty runes on the floor. By the way, Mokio, man fights in the 2v1. He's looking for the kill on SK. SK will turn with Burrow into the Curse Crown stun. Mokio being kited around. He's got 15 wand charges. And in comes Phoenix on the fight. He'll dive forward. Sunrays go on around. Here comes Slark. Dark pacting off the Curse Crown root. Bounty runes are still on the floor. He's denied by Kurdo. In TP's Invoker, who will miss the tornado as Pounce hits the Dark Willow. Dark Willow certainly will die. It's now 2 kills for Mokio. I don't honestly know if that's worth it. He lost a lot of creeps to do that, but he did it unless it's a 1-for-1 trade.
Radiant are scanning.
Lucello. Can he Voiceberg get there in time? Oh, he will. Or maybe not. Oh, so close. If Cello got that. If Cello got that, I'm calling GG, but instead, Cello went for the big heads-up play, knowing the subs couldn't be there. Problem is, there's a core called Void Spirit, and he was there instead. The other room was a little less exciting. It was simply a wife on the Centaur War Runner who grabbed it. The lead is 1k early for Mellow Fellows. Pretty good lead. For Sand King, he's trying to cut the wave here. He's got the Sandstorm. He's invis in the Sandstorm. Problem is, though, Slark might just, deny 1 creep. Okay.
Radiant's bottom tower is
I feel like we have been seeing a little more of this, this Sandstorm, Sand Shroud facet recently. Obviously, for a long time about the mobile Sandstorm, but we're seeing a little bit more invis Sandstorm recently. Over to Vico, he's being ganked by 3. He'll tank a Curse Crown. Sunray's healing him up. He's Ghost Walking. Now he's Stampede away. He'll turn on Kurdo. Kurdo's everything on cooldown. Tornado hits absolutely both subs. Bristleback is dead. In comes enough from the east side, looking for a Burrow play. Cello has been slowed. Vico has been slowed, but neither are going to die. Mellow Fellows are looking real clean in Game 3 as it currently stands, up by 2,000 gold. Already a 58% chance to win. Hey, if you're looking for like the keys to win the game for Mellow Fellows, they've done all that they can so far in this game. They've done everything correctly. And for Funny Zone, what's the stack situation? Are there stacks? Oh yeah, there are stacks. So, if you look at the stack here, and the stack here, I think if you were Ultra Gunner, you were salivating right now. Like, yes, I can leave this stupid lane with the Centaur hero and a Phoenix and I can go grab some creeps. That sounds great to me. He'll probably leave pretty soon. He is level 7, so he's got the ulti skill in 4 points in the Great Cleave. Problem is, though, they're looking at him, but Ultra's a little bit too quick for them. Mid lane is a mid laner versus mid laner do-si-do, but everyone's a-okay. No one is going to die. Over to the bot lane, we see Slark getting looked at, but I think the word looked at would be an appropriate description. They didn't really do all that much to deal with him. And more stacks from Ultra Gunner. Stacking his own camp this time, and I believe Sven now will entirely leave the lane. He's like, you know what? Siege units are coming. They got 3 up here congregated. I don't want to be here. I'll go elsewhere. And, well, stack here, creeps here, stack there, stack here, stack here, more stack here. So many stacks right now, so. And Cello's aware of this, of course. He wants to delay the stack clearing. He actually will get one of the creeps, the pink-colored Wild Wing Ripper. As that happens, Radiant will easily kill that top T1 tower. It's the first tower dead of the game. Mellow Fellows, again, are playing up-tempo. Mid lane, though. Something might be brewing mid lane. Big Dave is here. Lefty's not very far. Seems like for now, though, they're not going to go for a big play to bring down the Invoker. He's pretty far forward, but despite being in this pretty compromising position, they're not going on him. They don't really see the opportunity. Meanwhile, Mokio goes in looking for enough. Pounce is ready. Can he hit it? He's hunting. And he barely misses it. As a result, enough has had enough of taking this damage. He'll be a-okay. What about our stacks here? Are all important our ancient camp stacks? They're still there. Mid lane, EMP, Tornado, Ice Blast, and that's one dead Big Dave. In comes Lefty looking for vengeance. He wants the AA kill. Deafening Blast knocks away, and Stampede has been used to disconnect. And now Vico will reconnect with his team. As he's A-OK. So it's already one dead. Perhaps we'll see a bit of a push on this mid T1 tower. And as that happens, there is a little bit of stat clearing going on. And actually enough grab the Ancient stack. Saying, you know what? They said, Ultra Gunner, you're farmed enough. We are Sand King. He is struggling. He needs to recover. Speaking of needing to recover, though, look at Lefty. He is 6th in net worth. He's tanking more EMPs. And a lot of times when you have the counter pick in the mid lane goes pretty well for you. This is an 8-pick Invoker, a 24-pick Void Spirit. It literally could not have been more of a counter pick than it was. And yet, he is the one who is far behind right now. Cello walks into Lefty. Remnant hits, but he can probably will dive away. He dives. He's being hunted, stepped in by Void Spirit. Well, Supernova, that'll be on cooldown, and as a result, it'll keep him alive. Meanwhile, bot lane Slark is being gone upon, but seems like he's fine. Yeah, he is entirely fine. Again, Mellow Fellows, this is a really, really clean game from them so far. I'm impressed. After game 2, I was a little bit concerned of their ability to have a game like this, but they bounced back. It's looking a lot more like game... See, they're probably playing better in this game than they were in game 1. And they won game 1 pretty handily. Look at our win probability. It's 76%. At minute 13, that is a massive, massive green line. If gold goes up, the XP is a little bit lower, but again, they're just going down the checklist. They're getting key items. One thing we want to see, of course, is that Blink Dagger on Centaur. But guess on the Curry right now for Wife. It's a Blink Dagger on Centaur. He's got a Blink Blade Mail and 3, count them, 3 bracers. Invoker is a Witchblade. Slark is a Diffusal Blade. They can just go soon. Meanwhile, looking at key dire items. We, of course, need everything in the kitchen sink on Sven, not that he can't farm all of that. Sand King has Blink, that's a very important item. Void Spirit, he's working towards a Manta first. I don't really know what that does, but it does something, I'm sure. Here we go, bottom lane. Epi, Burrow, finds the Slark. Can they kill him in time? Yes, they can. Huge kill for the Funny Zone. They bring down the carry, and now they'll flood the bottom lane. But in come heroes. Hoof Stomp there is on 2 from the Wife into Stampede. Baboon and Aurora both will be mincemeat. Double kill for Vico's Invoker. That's 1 carry for 2 sups. Perhaps it'll be Radiant who will do the siege instead. Maybe. And there we go, right at bottom lane, towards that T1 tower. Enough. Understandably wants nothing to do with the bottom lane. The siege is free. That's now 3 towers taken by Mellow Fellows. And note, they're tier 1s. Not only are they alive, they're very healthy right now. Only this bottom tier 1's even somewhat wounded right now, so that's a great game state. They'll smoke up S4. They want to win more. Jake Urdo breaks the smoke. He walks into a lot of danger. Curse Crown has been used. Burrow as well. Hits the Phoenix. Phoenix has to go. He gets it off in time. And now it's time to scramble. EMP is massive from Vico. Baboon has been brought down. It's only 1 kill. But then again, it could have been a lot worse. So I think both teams are relatively okay with the proceedings. Meanwhile, Mokio is under a Observer Ward. He knows it. He'll deward it himself, it appears. Yes, he will. We're getting more Dark Willow laughter from Baboon. More maniacal Dark Willow laughter. Into the dust. Mokio has a dust. So one thing. Oh, is he still fine? Oh, almost got away on Sankin. Good jukes, but not good enough. Yeah, one thing that's very important and differentiates, these really good core players from lesser competitors is purchasing detection. 'Cause a lot of times, especially with dust, when you're playing the core, you're a lot of times in a better position to use the dust. And Mokio had his dust ready. It secured the kill. Enough just wasn't ready. Lesser cores, lesser carries would not have that dust. But Mokio apparently is not a lesser carry. He is a greater carry, and that's a big heads-up play there. P2 top. It's not long for life. Dire Glyph is on cooldown for one hell of a long time. Ben TP's in, so they will defend wholeheartedly. Tornado ends up missing. Terrorize there to the Centaur, aiming for the epicenter. They want to bring that Whip Stampede's in time. Got Storm Bolted and Curse Crown, but there's just a little bit too much running away from Stampede Centaurs. And now the tower will be kept alive. That was the goal, right? The goal is to keep the tower alive, and that has succeeded. It's a happy tower. But the problem is you just return to the same game states.
Radiant's bottom tower
Though, again, if the longer the game state continues, the longer Sven will farm. Sven will
are scattered.
currently outfarm Slark because Slark is playing Slark and Sven is playing Sven. You know, very, very small Shiv-like dagger here, very large sword with cleave here, 100% cleave, but the problem is, even though Sven can farm with the current game state, the other heroes really cannot. Sand King is struggling right now, the Void Spirit is struggling right now. They simply do not have money. Maybe it can be put everything on Ultra's back. You'll win via the Sven, but... well, blink away by enough. Cello thought he had broken the blink with the Icarus dive. Apparently he didn't. And as a result, Supernova has been wasted.
Radiant are scattered.
And now we are once again back to a little bit of farming. Look at our graph. It's pretty stable net worth-wise, XP-wise, and win probability-wise. It's staying around that 80% marker. Lefty looks for action. He's got the Yasha and the Diadem, but again, he not only needs the Manta, he needs like another item on top of Manta to be useful this game. I don't know what that item is. Maybe like an Aghanim Scepter, maybe... I don't even know, but he needs more. He simply needs more. He's trying to find more. Problem is, Mokio also wants to stop the action. Hero's being gone on, and he is incredibly dead. The last hit will go to the Dark Pact Slark, I believe. Or perhaps not. The double-edged Centaur instead. Actually, it's going to prevent the one more permanent agility mapping, I suppose, but... again, still a nice little kill there. Luckily, Lefty got away. I think that was the idea, is go on Lefty, but... sometimes you have to die for your cores. In that case, he died for his core. Blink Yules, Epi, into Burrow. They're going for Vico. Vico's in a lot of danger. He's got no way out. Despite the Stampede, it's only death for Invoker. That's a major heads-up kill for Funny Zone. Nearly cuts the net worth lead in half. And more than the economic change, it's really a big morale thing to get a kill like that on the Invoker. You slow his game down and you say, yeah, guys, we can win the game still. We have power. We're huge and strong and all of these positive adjectives and adverbs. Top lane, Enough's hunting for more. He burrows forward. AA will use the dust as Slark arrives. Slark is here, but so is Void Spirits. Self-Yules comes in from the Sand King. Sand King's out of mana. However, Enough was TP. I think he's going to miss Pounce. AA dies to Void Spirit. Void Spirit's now juking things out. He's got no TP, but it seems not to matter. Over to the south side. Or perhaps hunting for Big Dave. But Big Dave is not willing to be hunted. It is not Bristleback season. He will walk away. As it stands, we are going to once again return to our seat of the top tier 2 tower, but again, it's a repeat of before. We're defending it as heartily as possible. Burrow forward, Tornado to counterplay, Terrorize, hits Slark, Slark's half HP, but he's still absolutely fine. Sven TP's in Invoker, tanks a Curse Crown, but not a Dust. Notably though, the goal earlier was to defend the tower. They defended it, and they did it again. That's one happy tower. Look how happy he is. Look at that smiley face. Happy tower. They just can't kill it. Obviously, killing the tower would be huge. If you're not followers, you kill that tower, this entire area of the map on the far north side is a lot more dangerous. Even this eastern area of the dire jungle is more dangerous. So to keep this tower alive, maximize your ability for a hero like say Void Spirit to recover his farm, which is so huge.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And Funny Zone, they're doing the right plays to recover the game state. So both teams, they're playing the way they need to. Funny Zone have woken up in that regard. And whoa, okay, we're smoked up as two. It's Sven and Bristleback. They'll rendezvous with Sand King, who joins the smoke. They'll add in left, make it the 4-man bands. They go east to west through their own jungle. Radiant play the high grounds. Dire spoke from the low ground still. Kurdo joins his team. Wife will walk forward slowly and he'll stop his lefty, goes in for the AAA. Will ice up on nothing. Stampede has been used. Pounce in by Slark Supernova on the floor. Voice Spirit has already been brought down. BK used by Sven to run away. We can't even get away here. Burrow Epi has been used with a very little effect. Cliff Stop hits Sand King. Sand King on the run, pass forward by Bokio. 2 kills now for Mellow Fellows. They head to Ultra Gunner. Ultra, it's in a lot of danger. Perhaps look for a TP play in the trees here, but there's a couple real angry heroes hunting. Tornado's perfect from medium range into the Sunstrike. He'll die to the Phoenix. That's 3 kills, and look who died. 1 core, 2 cores, and 3. Not only is it 3 for 0, they kill the tower top lane, and they're running it towards the high grounds. Or not, never mind. Still, massive, unbelievably massive win for Mellow Fellows. Oh, Pico! From long range, from downtown, he stun strikes Jake Gerdo across the map. What can you do, man? Dude, this is why they were banning the Invoker game 1, game 2. But the only thing is they were not first phase banning Invoker. They were daring Vico. If you really want to play Invoker, you need to first pick your hero. We'll counter it 5 times. Well, they had 5 counter picks, and yet the highest impact hero in the game right now is this guy right here, Vico Invoker. He's got his fans in the chat today, his former teammates from his championship squad, and they were talking him up. And maybe they were right to talk him up, actually. He's been owning this game.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And here we go. We're headed down to the bot lane. We're headed for that tier 2 tower bottom. Surely, it'll die. Surely. Surely not. Dire Glyph delaying that one. Perhaps see your tier 2 into a Tormentor take. Looking at Dire Vision, they know mostly what's going on right now. On the flip side, Radiant know very little, but they just don't care. They don't care where the Dire are. They'll just kill things anyways. And here we go. Free tier 2 tower. Free Tormentor. Tornado even actually hits the Dark Willow! Does something again! It's so beautiful! He'll heals himself on Kurdo, but it won't even matter. He's dead.
I will buy.
So free shard for Shell. That's a massive shard to get on Phoenix. Man, Mellow Fellows, they are, once again, not mellow. They are very aggro, and... For the Funny Zone, they're not in a good zone. They're just struggling. Again, all hopes are on this guy right here. Sven. Can you have this man carry you? It's the legendary Ultra Gunner Sven. Sure. But is it enough? He's buying a Harpoon. After Harpoon, he'll go into Blink Dagger. So he's thinking mobility. He's thinking of maneuvering around the team fights. Trying to, reposition when required, if required.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Is that enough, though? Maybe he needs like a Daedalus on that one? I don't even know. It feels like he just needs too many items. Meanwhile, in the Dire jungle comes Carnage. Tornado somehow misses. Hook Stomp, though, certainly hits. Lefty will Manta into someone to the north side. He'll step to the northeast. Supernova has been used. Wife hunts Lefty. Sunstrike misses enough. Burrows away, but he's still stunned. Shallow pursues. Spirit hits and enough falls. Importantly, Lefty did escape. Bit of split action occurred from Mellow Fellows, and they only got the 1 kill rather than both. So they limited the bleeding. And that is indeed how you approach a triage. You limit the bleeding. Oh, we're looking mid. They're going to go Ultra Gunner. He's got BKB if he can get off in time. Correction, it's not even needed. BKB not even needed in the slightest there. It's 9,000 lead for keeping track. Over 9,000, one might say. 87% win probability for Mellow Fellows. Perhaps a little high, but... You know, I've been disagreeing with the green line all night. 3 games in a row would certainly be in my nature. What's Lefty doing? He's stepping in. He'll rem the AA. AA turns with the Ice Blast. AA certainly will die. And now we hunt for more. Vico with Tornado. It'll split the wickets this time. Ultra runs forward, but has no detection. Meanwhile, Slark will head towards the Sven. Sven didn't BKB in time, though. Well, now BKB, he'll turn red. He's trying to blast on Mokio. Mokio survives. He's in the he's sunrise up by Cello Mellow. And here we go. Terrorize. Misses everything. Enough has fallen. Life remains alive. Kurtos trying to kill him. He finally died, but the trade for Big Dave is currently at 4 for 2 trade. Lefty's in the run. Enough has once again returned with the buyback. Aurora has bought back as well. Mokio, the new target. He's trying to remember the depth charge. The Death Shroud. It keeps him alive, and now Lefty is dead. They can't kill Slark. He finally dies. But they're running. Vico wants more. Is there more detection, though? I think we're out. The Ice Blast from long range. Does he hit it? He barely does, and that should be the kill, I think. We'll see. It'll be a close call. It'll be a really, really close call. And he dies under his tier 4s. He tried to slot in his cloak to resist it, but it did not work. Surely, as a team fight win for Mellow Fellows. Note, though, we do see a massive experience infusion for the Funny Zone. Sand King and Voice Bear in particular got a massive amount of XP in that fight. They're now doing much better level-wise than before. They were, of course, struggling with that one all game. We've not seen Roshan yet this game. Or the Radiant Tormentor. So Radiant have their pick of those two things. Either you go here, or you go here. Or perhaps you go here instead on the bottom side of the map. Mokio is looking for Lefty, but Lefty is, well, playing a Void Spirit, though Mokio doesn't care. He's pouncing forward. Ice Blast will end up hitting both! He's got Pounce in one. But similar to the northeast, of Mokio's hunting. The Pounce hits. There's a Stampede. That's a dead Void Spirit. Now it's a Tornado against J. Curto. J. Curto tried the TV, but it was canceled. Now his life will too be over. Vico is dominating. One more streak for the Invoker. He's 9, 1, and 8. Meanwhile, Midland Enough's trying to rat it up right now, but... Well, I don't think it's going to work. The two subs combine, and they easily finish the Sand King's life. And Shell even denies the tower. I mean, that's... Man. Mellow Fellows, they are out of control. Look where they are right now. They're in the high grounds. Funny Zone Glyph, unsurprisingly. They'll therefore remove that wave. Problem is, look over here. Another wave coming on forward. Therefore, we'll continue our push. The back door will not be protected. T3 tower bottom falls. Range racks will fall. Melee racks will fall. We're seeing a smoke on up, but notice no Sand King. That is a dieback on enough. They know there's no Sand King. So it's dead racks over here in the bot lane, and we're running on away right now. Ultra is in the vanguard, running forward, but to what effect? The answer is nothing. He'll break his smoke on the creeps, accepting the fight is lost. The racks are lost, and at this current pace, the game might even be lost. Look at our good friend Roshan. He's in a lot of danger right now. I believe this will be his 6th death of the night. Maybe his 7th death. I honestly forgot if there's a 3rd Roshan in game 2 or not. It doesn't really matter. The game was over. I kind of stopped paying attention to game 3 at that stage of the game. Game 2 at that stage of the game, but this time it'll be an easy first Roshan game 3. Aegis will go to Mokio, I'm sure. Or maybe Vico, probably Mokio. Yeah, there it is. He'll slot out the dust, slot in the Aegis of the Immortality. And now, through the Twin Gate, we arrive, and look who's there. It's a lot of funny zone heroes. We're seeing pings. We're headed to Lefty, who steps away. Ice Blast flies, barely misses, a little bit short. And now we stampede forward looking for more. Glimmer Cape has been used by Aurora to run away. And it is a good escape, it appears. No death. Wife blinks in. Enough will burrow him in return. Harpoon in by Ultra Gunner. Wife is dropping. He's still not even dead yet. And now in come his friends. Terrorize hits 2. Baboon will attempt the TP. It's canceled by a Yules from somebody. That's Chalamel's Yules. And now Kurto will self-Yules, delaying his death. Meanwhile, over to Wife and Vico. They try to bring down Big Dave. Big Dave TP'd away. So it's only one death. Not the most consequential death possible, given it's only a sup and not a core. And here we go. We once again have an opportunity to run it back towards the high ground. Slarks, he sees my arrow. He sees my arrow. He wants to. He smells the blood in the water. He tastes the blood in the water. He sees the blood in the water. He hears the blood in the water. He knows this is his chance to cap off a major upset over the #1 team in the perceived stronger group. T3 tower will die. The range racks are dropping. The melees are dropping. These will be a full set of racks, barring Miracle Defense. Funny Zone are alive on 5 if they want to perhaps go for a bit of a play, but they will not. Racks fall. Full set. Now taken. We're smoked up on 3. Wife leads the way mid lane. Him and Slark both play the Vanguard. Look how far back this rear guard is. Phoenix is way in the back. A is even further back. They'll try to go on Phoenix, and they will kill him in time. They'll buy that instantly. Ice Blast hits 2. Ultra's BKB. He's cleaving. He's cleaving! But he's not killing anybody. Wife barely dies with a trade for Ultra Gunner. And now Mokio's hunting. Supernova has been used. He'll pursue further, looking for Kurto. Enough goes down. Nobody's got a buyback that's dead. So no Sven, no Sand King, and Radiant still have 4. Lefty tries to save the game. He'll bring down 1 life of the Slark. He kills the Invoker as well. Lefty's a fantastic turn, but now it's Lefty juking it on now. Try to TP, but cancel the leash from the Slark's pounce. He's dead. It has no buyback. We head towards the Bristleback. Mokio's again hunting. Aurora's in a lot of danger. He's got pounce in 4. He will not get that kill. But more importantly, look at the structural damage. Range racks are dead. Lefty somehow find a buyback from something. I'm not entirely sure what. Mokio wants the megas. He smells the megas. He tastes, never mind, he does not taste them at all. Instead, they're leaving their base. Cello will demarcate himself. Mokio will purge off the Bramble Maze. Pounce back forward, looking for Kurto. Kurto will Yules himself. And again, that'll be a dead Dark Willow. He turns to Bristleback. Bristleback has bristles on his back. He's now dusted. He's dropping. One more hit will do it. And he's dead. Double kill from Mokio once again. Willow has buyback. Bristle does not. Megas have been secured. Ice Blast will break the initiation. Have to pounce in again by Mokio, going for Sand King. They're kiting around the Slark. But can they do anything? No, they cannot. Instead, enough dies to the Ice Blast. They get tipped by Mokio. This game's over. The GG is called. In a major upset, Mellow fellows, 2-1 the Funny Zone. And our playoff favorites have fallen round 1. And if you are sitting in the winner's bracket, you have breathed a sigh of relief. Funny Zone are no longer in your path. That said, though, Mellow fellows, well, apparently they are not going to be an easy win. They will not go down easily. They're going to certainly stand their ground and step on in for that Funny Zone playoff bracket spot. So, as our 4th and final series result of the night, Underdogs beat Blucher. I hardly knew her. Bad Faith Blucher beat Wilted Roses. I Don't Care Sign Me Up beat Nebula. and Mellow Fellows beat Funny Zone. If you're looking at group versus group dynamics, it's a 2-2 draw tonight. Both groups had 2 teams win and 2 teams lose. But the most notable one's probably this upset right here. That's our number 1 seed. 20 wins and 4 losses. A gigantic, I think it's like an 83% win percentage. But they can only win 33% in the winners' brackets. Man. Big win. Big win for Mellow Fellas. And again, at this point, we're looking forward for our next round of the brackets. Funny Zone will have to go to losers. They're to play the KU team. Oh no, they're to play I Don't Care, Sign Me Up. So one of our real titans of lads is going to go down round 2 of losers. And Royal Andy will play Mellow Fella in winners. That'll be a series I'll be casting for sure. I love me some casts of that series, so we'll see that one when that one happens. But congratulations to Mellow Fellows on their 2-1 victory over the Funny Zone. Commiserations to my boys in the Funny Zone. Valiant attempt, fantastic game too, but not enough to win 2 of 3. Thank you to the viewers for tuning in. We actually had a lot of viewers tonight. Surprisingly high number of viewers tonight. I really appreciate the turnout. I'm getting a little bit nervous at this point, but really appreciate the turnout for all the people. I'll be back for some more lads action later. Later in the bracket. But if you want me to cast your games, cast your tournaments, you know where to find me. Contact me on discord.com/ Discord Badger Pavlo or twitter.com/Badger Dota 2. Those are words. That's how you say words. I kind of forgot to say words, but I figured it out. As always, thank you for watching. Have a great night.